Chapter 836. You don't want to compete anymore? Master Kong, are you kidding me? Yi Zhantian was dumbfounded. This battle of the century was the focus of everyone's attention. Overlords from all over the world were here. They had been waiting for 2 days and 2 nights. But now, you don't want to compete anymore? Fellow cultivator Jiang. Are you so arrogant that you think the old man is not qualified to compete with you? Hearing this, Yi Tianren was a little angry. He snatched the satellite phone and said angrily, "Overlords from all over the world are waiting for you. You refused again and again, and now you don't want to compete anymore. Have you forgotten the 3-year agreement with the old man? Aren't you afraid that the heroes of the world will criticize you for going back on your word?" Yi Tianren couldn't help but be angry. Who wouldn't be angry if this happened to them? In the new era of the Republic of China, he was the most powerful man in all of Huaxia. He was also the last person to reach the top of the divine list of the Holy See before it closed. People like Wang Chongyan, Miyamoto Genichi, and Zeus were not even worthy of carrying his shoes. Even the leaders of semi-hidden sects like Diansong, Gu Wudong, and the Tianshan sect had to be careful when they saw him. He had dominated the martial arts world of Huaxia for a century. In the martial arts world of Huaxia, he was the most powerful man except for Kunlun. He had made an agreement with Jiang Tian 3 years ago in Dongyang, and Jiang Tian had also agreed before. But now Jiang Tian didn't want to compete and made him wait for 2 days in vain. Jiang Tian was too arrogant. What hero of the world? He's just a coward. Jiang Tian frowned and said unhappily. If they want to poke at my spine, let them. My spine is very strong, I'm not afraid of being poked. I'll just treat it as a massage. Bullshit. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Nothing in the world is more important than feeding porridge to my wife. Jiang Tian coldly hung up the phone. When he faced Xiao Xueqing, he had a gentle smile on his face. Come, sweetheart, have some porridge. While Jiang Tian and Qing'er were being affectionate, the martial arts world of Huaxia, and even the world of cultivation, was in an uproar. Kang Taichu tore up the 3-year contract and hid in Tianqing School. He didn't dare to compete with Yi Tianren. When the news came out, many people on Yushu Peak were dumbfounded. Why didn't Kang Taichu compete? This doesn't fit his personality at all. Many experts were puzzled and didn't dare to believe it. Since Kang Taichu's debut, he had been invincible and had never been defeated in 100 battles. He was as strong as a dragon and had suppressed the world's martial arts world. When had he ever flinched? He was injured in the United States, and his cultivation level dropped drastically. He's already an iron body cultivator. Kai Shaochen, the oldest guru in history, said with certainty. He's not even worthy of being my disciple, and he wants to compete with Yi Tianren? This is simply the biggest joke in the world. He flicked his sleeves, his eyes full of arrogance, and sighed leisurely. This is the consequence of being too eager for instant success and an unstable foundation. Cool. Damn, I've waited for 4 years, and I finally have the chance to say this. I've been holding it in for so long that I've suffered internal injuries. Originally, he was just talking bad about Jiang Tian. He didn't know if Jiang Tian was really injured and his cultivation level dropped sharply. But when he said this, he was a little convinced by this inference. Not only did he believe it, but most of the people who were paying attention to this battle also believed it. Kang Taichu was so arrogant and looked down on everything. How could he swallow his anger? There was no other explanation except that his strength was not good enough. Because Jiang Tian's explanation for ending this battle was, nothing is more important than feeding porridge to my wife. Did you hear that? Was that something a human would say? Feeding porridge to his wife. Can't he feed her at any time? Then, Zhou Zitao jumped out and roared at the sky. Kang Taichu, come back. I want to avenge my brother. He conveyed the challenge through Wu Yingxiong, the overlord of the southwest, who was familiar with Jiang Tian. However, Jiang Tian still refused. I'm with my wife. I don't have time to go back to Huaxia. If he wants to challenge me, ask him to come to Sidoni. Hearing this, everyone was even more certain. Zhou Zitao was only half a step away from the immortal state. However, Jiang Tian still didn't dare to come out to fight, which further confirmed the fact that Jiang Tian was seriously injured and his cultivation level had dropped to the transcendent state. No, he was only an iron body cultivator. He had no cultivation level at all and was about to die. Sigh, Kang Teichu can't do it anymore. The former most powerful overlord in the world has become an ordinary transcendent state overlord. How sad. Someone lamented regretfully. This is what happens when you don't know when to stop. Challenging the United States, huh? Are you happy now? An overlord shook his head and said. For a moment, there were those who mocked, those who looked on coldly, those who gloated, those who disdained and those who were confused. In the end, the overlords who had been waiting on the Yushu Peak for several days left angrily and were extremely disappointed. Then, the news spread on the dark web forum and many international tycoons also believed it. He doesn't dare to compete with Yi Tianren. I'm afraid he really can't do it. The overlord on the divine role has fallen. Kang Teichu's era is over. Someone lamented regretfully. In fact, when the news of the United States using the neutron bomb broke out, many people thought that even if Jiang Tian could withstand it at that time, there would be endless troubles in the future. After all, nuclear radiation could exist for a long time and it wouldn't fade away for decades. Take the Chernobyl nuclear power plant for example. Even decades after the accident, it was still a barren no-man's land. If people wanted to go there, they would be exposed to nuclear radiation and couldn't withstand it. Although Jiang Tian didn't die at that time, how would he deal with the nuclear radiation later? In Yanjin, Chen Zifen, Lin Fengyan, Qin Zhong, and the other family heads of the 6 major martial arts families were facing a formidable enemy and were secretly plotting. It seems that Master Kang is really going to die. We have to do something. Chen Zifen said worriedly. Everyone looked very uneasy. Yi Tianren killed a lot of people in Huaxia back then. Who dared to not submit to him? When Yi Tianren was in seclusion, they had joined by Tianlei and his wife and supported the Condor team. They wanted to replace the Huaxiaolong formation and suppress him a lot. Now that the domineering Yi Tianren came out of seclusion, would he let them go? Zifen, aren't you being too cautious? Master Kang and Yi Zhantian are very close. He said that he would let bygones be bygones. Qin Zhong comforted. But Yi Tianren is his father. Now that Yi Tianren is going to attack Jiang Tian, he won't side with Jiang Tian. Chen Zifen snorted. When Lei Hao and Hong Mei were dominating Huaxia during the day, you all killed a lot of people here. I'm afraid that now we have to break with Jiang Tian to show our loyalty to Yi Tianren. Sigh, if that's the case, we will be seen as two-faced. Lin Fengyan said gloomily. Qin Zhong shook his head and sighed. Sigh, Master Kang is too reckless. Why did he have to fight with the United States? This is great. How about we go to Sidoni to visit Master Kang and see how he is doing? Lin Fengyan suggested. Chen Zifen called Sasaki Haisha and asked for a visit. Naturally, he was rejected. Jiang Tian was with his wife. How could he have time to talk to them? If he doesn't want to see us, something must have happened. Chen Zifen's face was dark and his voice was heavy. In the end, they could not sit still anymore. They all looked at Yi Tianren and tried to find out what was going on. Yi Zhantian, who received them, was also helpless. How could Grandmaster Jiang fall? How could his cultivation drop? These are all false rumors. You must not listen to slanderous words and panic yourselves. And don't try to suppress Master Kang's power in Huaxia. Otherwise, I will not let you off the hook. Chen Zifen nodded and bowed. Don't worry, Boss Yi. We will not do anything stupid in the future. We followed the Bai family because we were deceived. I hope Master Yi can understand. Yi Zhantian waved them away. After they left, Lin Fengmian asked. What do you think Yi Zhantian meant? It doesn't look like he's faking it. Ha, this is called luring the snake out of its hole. He's testing us. The Yi family has always dominated Huaxia. How could they let Jiang Tian have the upper hand? Chen Zifen sneered as if he had the pearl of wisdom in his hand. In the Yangtze River, each new generation excels the previous one. The next 100 years belong to the Yi clan. Jiang Tian has lost his cultivation. I'm afraid Tianqing School is not going to make it either. I don't care what you decide. I will withdraw my investment immediately. In the Han family of Yanjin, Han Daod was patiently asking Han Qingli for details. Qingli, what do you think of Jiang Tian in America? Was he really not hurt when the neutron bomb exploded? If he was hurt, your daughter would have been turned into a pile of minced meat. Han Qingli sneered. The rumors are all nonsense. Dad, don't believe them. But now, Lin Fengmian's family and other martial arts families have announced that they have broken with Kang Taechu and withdrawn their investment from Sidoni. Han Daod was worried. They are not fools. They are real martial arts masters. I don't think they made the wrong choice. Chapter 837. Chen Zifen was the first to announce that he supported the Yi family in Yanjin and left Kang Taechu and Tianqing School. Then, the other martial arts families in Yanjin followed suit. At the moment, only a few core members of Jiang Tian's family, the Huaqing Tian family, the Zhao Yuankuan family and the Wei Feilong family, remained silent. Even the Wu Yingxiong family in the southwest and the Yi Wudao family in Jiangxi chose to stand on Yi Tianren's side. By then, the news had gradually spread to the secular world. The entire Huaxia upper-class society was in a state of panic. Even the magnates were sitting on pins and needles, trying to find out what was going on. Back then, Kang Taechu replaced by Tian Lei and other martial arts families and became the martial arts arbiter, killing everyone in Yanjin. How many people had died and how many families had been destroyed? How much of a change of interests was that? Until then, Yi Tianren had been in seclusion for 20 years and his strong return would certainly stir up a storm. He might even lose his head. Yi Tianren was even more ruthless than Jiang Tian. Before the founding of the People's Republic, Yi Tianren crossed the river on a reed and killed the entire martial arts community in Huaxia in the 1990s. Patriarch, I think Master Kang is fine and his power must still be there. Huaqing Tian, Zhao Yuankuan and Wei Feilong haven't said anything, have they? Big Blade brother Zhang Shisan interrupted. Huaqing Tian and the other two are Jiang Tian's disciples and their families have moved to Sidoni. Even if they wanted to choose themselves, they couldn't do it. Han Daod shook his head and said. Dad, just listen to me this once. Grandmaster Jiang won't have any problems. Han Qingli was a bit annoyed and said anxiously. She didn't know martial arts, but she had seen Jiang Tian fight with the Overlord of the Universe shield at close range. That kind of visual experience had a great impact on her and she almost blindly believed that Jiang Tian was invincible. Good. Since that's the case, we'll stand on Kang Taechu's side this time. Han Daod pondered for a moment and made up his mind. But don't take any stance. Just wait and see, Master, please refute the rumors. Ever since you didn't challenge Yi Tianren a month ago, the rumors have become more and more outrageous. Everyone is saying that you've lost all your cultivation. Sasaki Haisa held his laptop and looked at the news on the forum, feeling depressed. Your mouth is on someone else's body. You can say whatever you want. Do you think they deserve it? Jiang Tian, who was lying on Qing'er's belly, listened to the movements and said calmly. He didn't care about how the world of the strong viewed him. He didn't care about the rumors and slanders outside. It was just like the neighbor's 8-year-old child saying that you were poor. Could you show him the real estate certificate? Besides, the joy of Qing'er's pregnancy had already made him forget himself. He was too satisfied. Whoever wanted the title of the world's #1 expert could have it. In any case, he just wanted to be a quiet and handsome dad. I'm just worried that something will happen to the two branches of ancient Wudang and Shinong school. Some people have always bullied the weak and feared the strong. Now, Tang Linglong and Shin Mange have both gone back to hold down the fort. Sasaki Haisa had considered everything thoroughly. I think that you guys have experienced too little tempering. It's also a good thing that something has happened. Jiang Tian laughed. Fighting and killing was also a part of cultivation. Tang Linglong, Shin Mange, and the other disciples had experienced too little fighting. Sasaki Haisa was also very helpless about this. He could only sigh. However, during this period of time, Jiang Tian had not only been accompanying Qing'er. He hadn't been idle. Jiang Tian had refined many artifacts that he had obtained from the Dark Parliament and the Celestial God Corporation. Angel's wings, sacred blood robe, divine bone scepter, sinew of the evil dragon, these were all quasi-spirit treasures. There was even a spirit treasure. It was the accumulation of the Dark Parliament's thousands of years of plundering in the world. Some of them were even looted from the Holy See. Even in sects like Amei and ancient Wudang, they were still very rare. It had been more than 4 years since he had been reborn on Earth, but he had still not seen such rich reserves. If these things fell into the hands of a master refiner, they could even be refined into artifacts that could kill golden core cultivators. However, the techniques of the Blood Race and Holy See were too crude. They could only refine quasi-spirit treasures. With my methods, I should be able to refine a batch of real spirit treasures for the disciples to use. Jiang Tian's eyes flickered as ideas sprouted one after another. A few days later, after a sacrificial refining, Jiang Tian quickly erased all the Dharma power and soul energy on the artifacts and formed his own talismans and Tao patterns for the disciples to use. When these spirit treasures were distributed, all the disciples were shocked. Everyone's combat strength increased rapidly. Dharma artifacts and Dharma treasures were, after all, external forces. Improving one's own cultivation was the foundation of everything. How could Jiang Tian ignore this aspect? He had obtained more great medicines and spiritual herbs in the Sword Tomb. After all, that was the place where celestial immortals fell. It contained far more treasures than any powerful organization in the world. It was also protected by arrays, so it had not been seriously damaged for hundreds of years. Later, after a day of the imprisonment array, time accelerated. Those great medicines were matured again, and the medicinal properties they contained had reached an unimaginable level. Jiang Tian used the fastest speed to refine many pills that were suitable for the disciples' physiques. He gave them to Zhao Xueqing, Huang Linger, Hua Qingtian, Zhao Yuankuan, Wei Feilong, and many other disciples. Zhao Xueqing and Huang Linger both had good aptitude and comprehension. If they broke through 1 or 2 more times in 2 months, Qing'er might even break through to the Foundation establishment realm. Hua Qingtian and the others were less talented. It might take them a year and a half to refine the medicinal properties and break through to the immortal realm. However, Jiang Tian was not in a hurry. The last time they broke through to the immortal realm, it was Jiang Tian who forcefully enlightened them. In just a month or 2, they quickly broke through to the half-step immortal realm. If they broke through so quickly, their foundation would be unstable. It was better to let them comprehend and break through on their own. Time flowed by like sand between one's fingers. Soon, 2 months had passed. The 2012 Spring Festival was approaching. Zhao Xueqing's lower abdomen was slightly bulging. "Hubby." On this day, Zhao Xueqing suddenly exclaimed. "What?" Jiang Tian asked with a smile. "That stinky girl actually kicked me." Zhao Xueqing touched her belly and said in surprise. "Really? How dare he kick my wife? See if I don't spank him." Jiang Tian touched Zhao Xueqing's belly and felt his daughter kicking vigorously. He was very interested and said with a smile, "Haha, she's so cute. She's so bad-tempered, just like me." Zhao Xueqing's face suddenly showed a hint of disappointment and said, Jiang Tian, I have something to tell you. What is it? Jiang Tian asked with a smile. I want to go back to Huaxia, go back to my hometown, and sweep my mother's grave. Zhao Xueqing said softly, I haven't swept my mother's grave for many years. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of sadness. When I was young, she was seriously ill. She once told me that when I got married and got pregnant, I must tell her. But I haven't done it yet. Also, I want to live in my hometown for a while. That's where I grew up. Okay. Then let's go back. Jiang Tian said with a smile. Zhao Xueqing rarely mentioned her mother's relatives. According to that girl Zhao Qianru, ever since her mother passed away, she had never visited her grandfather's family. It seemed that their relationship was very ordinary. However, there was one thing that Jiang Tian had always been a little puzzled about. Qing'er had the stainless phoenix immortal body, which was one of the 13 strongest immortal bodies in the cultivation world. Even in the cultivation world, it was very rare. It might not be possible to give birth to one in thousands of years. There was no need to talk about Zhao Hucheng. He was just an ordinary person. What kind of bloodline did Qing'er's mother have to be able to give birth to a physique like Qing'er's? Therefore, Jiang Tian also wanted to meet the people on Qing'er's mother's side and see who they were. Moreover, the Coelian system that Huaxia had ordered had already begun the basic planning, debugging, and installation. Chao Shixiang and Secretary Shen represented the central government and repeatedly invited Jiang Tian to go back and have a look to discuss cooperation with Sidoni in many fields. Jiang Tian had to give them face. In addition, the Amei sect's sect leader, Hao Taichong, had been killed by him. The position of sect leader had been empty for now. No one was in charge of such a large sect. He couldn't let a group of pitiful children lose their mother. Jiang Tian planned to send Huang Linger to take charge. There should be a few incomplete maps of the ruins of immortality in the Amei sect. Jiang Tian hadn't taken them back yet. Thinking about it, there were quite a lot of things to do when he returned to Huaxia. Therefore, Jiang Tian's plan was quickly formulated. The private plane flew directly to Beijing. He would first meet his relatives in Beijing, talk to them, and take a look around. Jiang Zhixing returned to Huaxia to submit his resignation. Zhang Wanqing also returned to Beijing for the Spring Festival. She hadn't been back for a long time. Speaking of which, after Qing'er got pregnant, Zhang Wanqing and her husband still didn't know. He didn't know how happy she would be if she knew. Then, he would go to Qing'er's birth mother's hometown to pay respects to her birth mother and sweep her grave. Finally, he would go to Mount Amei in Sichuan province to suppress the Amei sect. Jiang Tian didn't bring many people with him. Other than Huang Linger, who was going to Mount Shu to take charge of Amei, he only brought Sasaki Haisha. Other than that, he brought the old dragon with him. This guy said that Huaxia was the territory of the dragon race. Maybe a beautiful female dragon would appear. He wanted to go to Huaxia and see if he could meet his partner for the rest of his life. Don't even think about getting single. Jiang Tian felt that there wasn't much hope. After he was reborn, he lived in Huaxia for several years and didn't see a dragon. He guessed that the old dragon would be single for the rest of his life. But the old dragon didn't agree. It acted coquettishly in front of Zhao Xueqing every day. Zhao Xueqing persuaded Jiang Tian, and Jiang Tian could only agree. However, the size of its original body was too scary. If people saw it, they would be scared to the point of going crazy. Fortunately, the old dragon now cultivated some spells. Although it couldn't transform into a human form, it could still transform into a dog or a lizard. In the end, the old dragon became a big black dog. Although it consumed more magic power because of the different races, there was no other way. Only dogs and cats could pass through Huaxia's border. Transforming into a lizard couldn't pass the border inspection. Jiang Tian called the old dragon, but face, all the way, which made the purple gold old dragon so angry that it teared up. Master, I'm a dragon. You're hitting me hard like this. It's affecting my mental health. In the end, the old dragon couldn't take it anymore. It jumped out of the plane and turned into a giant dragon lying on the plane. It was quite eye-catching. After more than 10 hours of flight, the magnificent Gulfstream G550 private plane crossed the sky and slowly landed at the Capital International Airport. After nearly a year, Jiang Tian once again set foot on Hua Xia's territory as the sect master of Sidoni Tianqing School. Chapter 838. A moment later. Jiang Tian, Zhao Xueqing, Huang Linger, and Sasaki Kaisha got off the Gulfstream G550 together. Originally, Jiang Tian was comparable to a country's head of state. It was almost a state visit. It was not too much for the head of state to pick him up in person. But it was precisely because he knew this. Jiang Tian, who didn't like red tape, didn't inform the big shots at all. Sasaki Kaisha only informed Shin Mange to pick him up. It was enough to have a place to stay and save too much trouble. What about the airport ferry? Sasaki Kaisha asked an airport staff next to him. It was also because Jiang Tian didn't want to make a big fuss, so he didn't let Shin Mange drive to the airport, but took the airport's public ferry. Oh, sorry, the airport's ferry is a little tight. You can walk there. The airport staff said casually. Sasaki Kaisha was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He whispered angrily, "Are you kidding me? We are a private plane. The route fee and parking fee include the ferry service. Call your airport manager here." At this time, a fat man with a head full of fat came over and said with a smile, "I'm sorry, the ferry is really tight. We can refund this part of the fee, including the liquidated damages. Do we lack that money? What we want is service." Sasaki Kaisha was so angry that his face turned pale, and he shouted angrily. The weather was cold. Zhao Xueqing was pregnant, and it was a critical time to prevent miscarriage. How could there be any accident? "I'm sorry, we can't serve you." Zhou Xiaoxiang, the airport manager, looked proud. "We can't serve you. Do you know who this is?" Sasaki Kaisha was so angry that he almost hit someone. He pointed to Jiang Tian and said, "It's your honor to serve him. Just one word from him and you can be removed from your post and investigated." "I know who it is. Kang Tae-chu." Zhou Xiaoxiang smiled contemptuously and turned away, "But I'm sorry, we can't serve you, and we don't want to serve you. Bastard, I'll kill you." Sasaki Kaisha was so angry that he almost pulled out the long sword on his back. "Forget it." Jiang Tian waved his hand to stop him, and said with divine sense, "Don't kill people and ruin my prenatal education plan. Let's go." With a daughter, Jiang Tian's mentality was much more peaceful and merciful. His anger was almost swept away, and he didn't want to argue with such a nobody. With that, he and Huang Linger supported Zhao Xueqing as they walked toward the VIP passage. Sasaki Kaisha could only suppress his anger and followed. After Jiang Tian left, Zhou Xiaoxiang smiled coldly and said, "Ha, this is Jiang Taichu, the number one person, the number one powerhouse. Rubbish. Rubbish. If I don't give him face, he won't dare to do anything to me. What number one expert? Manager, it sounds very powerful." A few staff members beside him asked. "Don't ask what you shouldn't. But now, he is." Zhou Xiaoxiang's face was full of disdain, and there was hatred in his eyes. He was related to Jiang Tian. He was the brother-in-law of Qin Zhong, the head of Yanjing's martial arts family. However, he wasn't Qin Zongheng's uncle. He was the uncle of Qin Shaoxiong, who was crippled by Jiang Tian in Jinling. On the day of Su Shiji and Meng Yao's wedding, the wedding cars collided with Ghost Kick's funeral team. Qin Shaoxiong stood up for Su Shiji, and was beaten into a vegetative state by Jiang Tian. He was still lying in the ward. At that time, Zhou Xiaoxiang saw it with his own eyes. He was so scared that he almost peed. Kang Taechu was too ruthless. He was a vice-chairman of a central enterprise, and he was a big shot in Yanjing. But because Qin Shaoxiong lost his power, his status in House Qin dropped, and he was abandoned. Being a small manager in charge of ground service at Beijing Airport was only equivalent to being a divisional leader. Zhou Xiaoxiang was too angry. He had always hated Jiang Tian. But he didn't have the chance to take revenge. Jiang Tian could crush him with just a hair. However, he didn't give up. He had been paying attention to Jiang Tian's news. People like Zhou Xiaoxiang were too far away from the top. He could only ask around. He also registered accounts in Super's Forum, Secrets of Humans, and other forums that specialized in superpowers. So, he could get some second-hand news. This time, he was so happy when he heard that Jiang Tian's cultivation dropped and he became a cripple. He wanted to celebrate. Now that he saw Jiang Tian coming over, he couldn't help but make fun of him. I have to report this to young Master Qin Zongheng. He had an idea and called Qin Zongheng's secretary, saying that he had something important to report. It was very urgent. 5 minutes later, the call went through. Qin Zongheng's cold voice came through. What's the matter? Young Master Zongheng, Kang Taechu is back. Zhou Xiaoxiang said excitedly. What? He's back. Qin Zongheng was shocked. Jiang Taichu had actually returned. Could it be that his cultivation base hadn't decreased? Was he going to engage in a heaven-shaking battle with Celestial Leaf? He immediately broke out in cold sweat. He was relatively close to Jiang Tian. He knew how fierce and ruthless Jiang Tian was. Now that the Qin family had surrendered to Yi Tianren, left Tianqing school, and betrayed Kang Taechu, they might be doomed. Yes. He's back. But he really doesn't seem to have any cultivation. Zhou Xiaoxiang said softly. I purposely made fun of him. He didn't even have the courage to refute me. Really? Qin Zongheng rolled his eyes and said in a low voice, this is too important. Test him again, I understand. Zhou Xiaoxiang hated Jiang Tian to begin with. Moreover, he now had young Master Qin's support. He hung up the phone and immediately called the management of the VIP channel. Sir, madam, I'm sorry. The VIP channel is under repair. You're not allowed to pass through or use it. Jiang Tian and the others braved the cold wind to walk to the airport's VIP channel. Unexpectedly, they were stopped by a few security guards. We're Sidoni's private plane. We have the right to use the VIP channel. Sasaki Haisha was anxious and argued. Even though Zhao Xueqing was a cultivator, she could not escape the natural law of pregnancy. She walked a few kilometers. Her waist and legs were sore and weak. Moreover, she was vomiting. It was very uncomfortable. I'm sorry. The channel is under repair. There's no room for negotiation. Even if the Heavenly King comes, it's not allowed. The security guards received Zhou Xiaoxiang's call. At this time, they were impartial. Forget it. Let's go through the normal channel. We're not far away anyway. Seeing Sasaki Haisha's angry eyebrows and her murderous look, Zhao Xueqing hurriedly smiled and gently persuaded her. Although Jiang Tian felt sorry for Zhao Xueqing, he did not say anything. He channeled a stream of true essence into Zhao Xueqing's body to nourish her body. Then, he supported Zhao Xueqing and walked toward the normal channel. Within the borders, Jiang Tian had always avoided killing people if he could. The key was that Zhao Xueqing forbade him from killing people. She claimed that it was not good for her daughter's prenatal education. That murderous aura would affect her daughter's mental health. Jiang Tian did not want to make Zhao Xueqing unhappy. Isn't this Jiang Tian? Jiang Tian and the others had just entered the normal channel. At the entrance of the VIP channel, a beautiful figure wearing a white trench coat, khaki casual pants, and high heels appeared. She looked at Zhou Xiaoxiang and the security guards with a half-smile. "Manager Zhou, do you know who he is? He's not allowed to go through the VIP channel. He's a big shot here." If Jiang Tian was here, he would recognize an old friend, Yan Jianfan's daughter, Yan Di. Yan Jianfan and his wife and Jiang Zhixing and his wife were university classmates. The two families had a good relationship. Jiang Tian and this woman could be said to be childhood sweethearts. In high school, Yan Di even tutored him. After the two of them graduated from university, she, who was about the same age, even went on a blind date with Jiang Tian. Back then, Jiang Tian was in Qixia County, adjusting feng shui, and suppressing Master Su Hui. Yan Di was there. At that time, she was impressed by Jiang Tian. After that, Yan Di was especially interested in feng shui, xian qi, and other strange people. She also became the owner of the Human Mystery Forum, collecting and researching spells, martial arts, and superpowers everywhere. During the time when Jiang Tian was in Jinling. After having a certain understanding of the martial arts world, Yan Di, who used to study in France and was open-minded, repeatedly invited Jiang Tian to meet her. However, Jiang Tian refused to meet her. He didn't even pick up her phone. Later on, she was anxious and even asked Su Ruocheng to warn her. This made Yan Di feel defeated. Her self-esteem was shattered, and she resented Jiang Tian. "Miss Yan, he's done for. I heard that he's lost all his cultivation and has become a cripple." Zhou Xiaoxiang was still very respectful to Yan Di. Yan Di was the owner of the forum, and the two of them had met offline a few times. Yan Di was now living in Yanjing. She was married and quite well. Her husband was the young master of the Li family in Yanjing, backed by a top influential family in Yanjing. The Li family had a lot of influence in the general administration of customs, and they also did some foreign trade. Therefore, Zhou Xiaoxiang explained with a smile and even told him about Qin Zongheng's orders. It seems that those rumors are true. After hearing Zhou Xiaoxiang's words, Yan Di had some understanding in her heart. If not, how would Qin Zongheng and Zhou Xiaoxiang dare to offend Jiang Tian like this? If it wasn't true, given Jiang Tian's temper, he would have started a massacre long ago for the other party to offend him in such a manner. Think about how Jiang Tian dealt with Qin Shaoxiong and Su Shiji. He beat the two of them until they were in a vegetative state, and their limbs were shattered. Looking at the current situation, it was obvious that Jiang Tian was really done for. He could only be bullied and humiliated. He didn't even have the courage to fight back. He used to be the number one person, the number one on the Grandmaster Divine list, but now he has fallen from the altar. I'm afraid there will be 10,000 feet stepping on him. Yan Di's face was full of disdain. She shook her head in disdain and said, "He doesn't know how to be a person. His EQ is too low. He's too arrogant, and he kills people easily. He's offended too many people." Yan Di, you're right. Now he's a phoenix without feathers. He's not even as good as a chicken, and a tiger will be bullied by dogs. I can bully him however I want. After Zhou Xiaoxiang finished speaking, he suddenly realized that his words were a little inappropriate. Fortunately, Yan Di didn't notice it. His eyes were cold and solemn, and he said pretentiously, "Although I'm not a high official, I'm not as good as a county official. In the airport area, I'm the boss. I can bully him however I want." Zhou Xiaoxiang put his hands behind his back, puffed out his chest and smiled proudly. "I'm just about to bully him. Do you want to enjoy it with me? Okay. If you bully me to your heart's content, I'll treat you today." Hearing this, Yan Di's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up. She smiled charmingly and happily agreed. Chapter 839. Originally, Yan Di was qualified to pass through the VIP channel. But she really wanted to see Jiang Tian being humiliated, so she quickly followed Jiang Tian and the others with Zhou Xiaoxiang. Qing'er was nourished by Jiang Tian's true essence, and she ate Jiang Tian's painstakingly concocted pills to nourish her complexion and prevent miscarriage. Her complexion had recovered. But unexpectedly. When they passed through the customs inspection and quarantine station, Old Dragon Buttface was detained by the customs. "I'm sorry, this dog is a prohibited animal and can't enter the country. Please take it away immediately," the staff member said seriously. "I know that animals are prohibited, but companion dogs and cats are allowed." Sasaki Kaisha frowned and looked a little unhappy. "Also, we passed your country's customs application. The quarantine certificate and medical checks were done at Sidoni's customs without any problems. Yellow fever vaccination and so on, they were all done. Back in East Asia and in the Tianqing sect, she was a leader and had a respected status. Even the Prime Minister of Japan and Sidoni's Prime Minister, Chen Yang, had to give her some face. But this time, she had just landed in Huaxia and hadn't even left the airport. How could she not be angry? "Yeah, I even got a needle. Actually, my dragon body is very healthy." Old Dragon was also very depressed and muttered while rolling his eyes. "This dog can talk. It must be a monster. Hallucination, it must be a hallucination." The surrounding staff members were shocked, and their expressions changed. "How can you talk? Shut up." Jiang Tian threw a look at Old Dragon, and the latter stopped talking and lay there obediently. "This dog is not very healthy. It might have fallen sick on the way here. We can only detain it." The customs staff member shook his head and looked helpless. "If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. Do you know who you are facing?" "This is the famous Jiang," Sasaki Kaisha shouted angrily. "Kang Te-chu." Zhou Xiaoxiang's sarcastic voice came over. Of course, he knew that there was nothing wrong with this dog. But he wanted to trample on Jiang Tian, so he called the customs quarantine station in advance to stop them. "You know it's Master Kong, and you still dare to do this. Do you know how much Master Kong has contributed to Huaxia?" Sasaki Kaisha was so angry that her hands were trembling and her pretty face was pale. She didn't understand. Now, in the international community, Sidoni was Huaxia's biggest ally. The sunflower lotus that Jiang Tian had given to Huaxia was practically a free gift. He had only charged a symbolic installation fee of a few $100 million USD. However, the United States, the European Union, and Japan were so scared that they didn't dare to show their teeth to China. When the Covenant of Darkness caused trouble in Huaxia, it was also Jiang Tian's Tianqing school that rushed to help. Even further, Jiang Tian nurtured Zhan Long, killed Xiao Bin, killed Wang Chongyan, took control of Tanjuan's lineage, defeated Koryo, and donated countless times to Huaxia through the Jiang family's charity fund, one after another. There were too many to count. Which one of them wasn't a great contribution to Huaxia? Which one of them wasn't a blessing to the future generations? But now, Jiang Tian had returned to his hometown and was treated so rudely. It was simply unbearable. Why wouldn't I dare? Zhou Xiaoxiang raised his chin proudly and said disdainfully, "Do you think he's still the #1 powerhouse in Huaxia? He has no cultivation base anymore. Now, even the 6 major martial arts families in Beijing have broken ties with him. Without cultivation base, he's just an ordinary person. What can he do to me? If he has the guts, bite me. I'll kill this dog later and eat dog meat hot pot." The old dragon's eyes shone fiercely as he thought to himself, "Good. You want to eat my old dragon? Let's see who will eat who. I've been hungry for a long time. But the hot pot suggestion is not bad. It inspired me. I used to eat raw food all the time. It doesn't taste good. I wonder if Master has a big pot and hot pot ingredients in his gourd." His saliva instantly flowed down. Yen Di also shook her head lightly and looked at Jiang Tian with disdain. "Sigh, this is what it means to be bullied by dogs." But Kang Te-chu was too arrogant back then. Yen Di stepped forward in her high heels and said sweetly, Jiang Tian, why don't I help you say something? My husband is still quite influential in the customs. No need. Jiang Tian shook his head gently. Yan Di said softly, Jiang Tian, don't fight to the death. You've seen it too. The situation in China is different now. I'm afraid no one will give you face anymore. As the saying goes, a wise man submits to circumstances. After all, we're old classmates. She said it very tactfully, but her meaning could still be understood. You've seen it too. Huaxia is no longer your world. You're nothing now. She despised Jiang Tian to the extreme in her heart. Jiang Tian, when you stood at the peak of Huaxia, I could only look up to you. I asked you out every day, humbled myself, and wanted to be your lover. But you didn't even look at me. You even sent Su Ruoqing to threaten me not to harass you. Am I so cheap in your eyes? So unbearable? What about now? Ha, your family business has been forced overseas by the Lu and Song families. You've lost your cultivation. You're nothing. Jiang Tian ignored her and looked at Zhou Xiaoxiang. He said indifferently, are you targeting me? Yes, I'm targeting you. How about it? Zhou Xiaoxiang roared. Do you think you're still the Kang Teichu of the past? Do you think I still need to be afraid of you? Do you want this dog? Beg me, hurry up and beg me. Kneel down. Bam! Suddenly, a surging figure flew over and kicked him to the ground. Zhou Xiaoxiang felt a sweet taste in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. He glared at the person and said, how dare you hit me? Why wouldn't I? Zhang Huqin took off his sunglasses and said coldly, who do you think you are? How dare you roar at my Master Kang? Ha, Zhang Huqin, I know you. How dare you hit me? Zhou Xiaoxiang was furious. He shouted, I'm a government official. There are surveillance cameras here. Also, I have the Qin family behind me. The martial arts Qin family. Qin family? Ha! Zhang Huqin kicked him like a soccer ball and kicked him under the chin. Zhou Xiaoxiang somersaulted in the air and knelt on the ground. His teeth fell out and blood spurted out of his mouth. Qin family? Who do you think you are? Zhang Huqin sneered. You're just Master Kang's dog. Ask Qin Zongheng to come here. Let's see if these two bastards have the guts to come here and bare their teeth. Zhang Huqin was furious. In the past few days, the rumor that Jiang Tian had been seriously injured and his cultivation had been reduced to a cripple had spread like wildfire. The martial arts families and even some secular families in Yanjin had started to make a move on the Zhang family's business. Ask your chairman to come here. Zhang Huqin pointed at Zhou Xiaoxiang's nose and shouted, I'd like to see how he's going to deal with you. So what if I ask the chairman to come here? If the chairman comes, Kang Teichu will make things worse. Zhou Xiaoxiang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sneered. Now, the news that Jiang Tian had become a cripple had spread throughout Yanjin's upper-class society. Who would give him face? Before Zhang Huqin took out his phone, Lu Zisheng, the chairman of the airport group, had already heard the news and ran over. After all, this farce had caused quite a commotion and the security personnel had already reported it to the higher-ups. Chairman, look, they actually beat me up. I'm a government official. Zhou Xiaoxiang ran over as if he had seen a great support. He complained, hurry up and call the airport police to arrest them. Slap. What greeted him was a crisp slap in the face. Why did you hit me? I'm the victim here. Zhou Xiaoxiang covered his face and stared at the chairman in shock and shouted. The chairman roared angrily, you want to confiscate Master Kang's things? Are you crazy? This is Master Kang we're talking about. What Master Kang? He's dying. Don't you know that? Zhou Xiaoxiang said angrily. Dying? Who do you think you are? What qualifications do you have to say that he's dying? Lu Zisheng roared. Even if Jiang Tian was dying as the rumors said, his grandfather, the Zhang family, was now one of the top families in the secular world of Huaxia. Do you think you can afford to provoke them? Zhang Zhongguo was now a big shot in Yanjin, and the Yanjin International Airport was a state-owned enterprise under the Yanjin Municipal State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission. Here, Zhang Zhongguo's words carried weight. He could directly fire you with one sentence. Who could stop him? I'm going to be implicated by you. I'm a government official. I can't be beaten like this. You're not allowed to leave. You have to give me an explanation. Zhou Xiaoxiang saw that Jiang Tian was supporting Zhao Xueqing to leave. He immediately shouted and chased after them, wanting to pull Zhao Xueqing away. I have to give you an explanation. Good. I'll give you an explanation. This time, it was Huang Linger who made the move. Slap. She raised her eyebrows and her pretty face was frosty. She slapped Zhou Xiaoxiang's face and sent him flying 5 or 6 meters away. His face was swollen and his nose was bleeding. Huang Linger had always been gentle, compassionate, and kind. To a certain extent, she was even cowardly. She rarely resorted to violence or murder. However, at this moment, she was really angry. Zhao Xueqing was pregnant, and this bastard still dared to offend her. What if the child was lost? Chapter 840. You. How dare you hit me? Zhou Xiaoxiang got up, blood spurting from his mouth. He staggered toward Huang Linger and shouted angrily. Why wouldn't she hit you? She's pregnant. Can't you see? You're still pulling her. The chairman was so angry that he slapped Qin Xiaobei in the face without caring about his status. Zhou Xiaoxiang must have taken the wrong medicine today. They hit me, and they're leaving just like that. Zhou Xiaoxiang fell to the ground again and shouted. Damn you. From now on, you're fired. The chairman said angrily. Damn it, this kind of idiot must be fired. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble. I'll be dragged into the ditch. Fire me? I'm just enforcing the law. Why should I be fired? Zhou Xiaoxiang was stunned. His face was ashen as he said unwillingly. Don't you know whether you're enforcing the law impartially? I'll have someone investigate you. The chairman ignored him and hurried to catch up with Jiang Tian and his wife. He still had to apologize. Zhou Xiaoxiang gradually calmed down. He had to report this matter to Qin Zongheng immediately. That Jiang guy did not make a move from the beginning to the end. It was obvious that he had no cultivation. He quickly dialed the number and explained in detail. Sure enough, Qin Zongheng said, okay, you've been wronged. The Qin family will not mistreat you. I'll arrange for you to work at the head office later. Okay. Thank you, young Master Zongheng. Zhou Xiaoxiang was overjoyed. So be it. I'm backed by the Qin family. It's not like I can't find a job. He hung up the phone and was about to return to his office to pack his things and leave. Suddenly, a series of footsteps were heard. The earth shook and the mountains shook. The sound was shocking. A group of brawny men in black suits and cool sunglasses surrounded a white-haired old man. They walked in and shouted, Who's Zhou Xiaoxiang? Show yourself. I am. Which unit are you from? Why are you looking for me? What are you shouting about? I don't know what unit this is. Zhou Xiaoxiang shouted proudly. The white-haired old man in the lead walked over with an eagle-like gaze and a wolf-like gait. He laughed sinisterly. You dare to provoke Master Kong with just you? I think you're crazy. Pa! His face turned cold. He took a step forward and kicked Zhou Xiaoxiang's knee with great force. Crack! Zhou Xiaoxiang's kneecap was immediately shattered. Blood flowed out and he fell to the ground, screaming like a pig being slaughtered. You dare to hit me? Chairman, why didn't you stop him? Zhou Xiaoxiang howled in pain, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. The chairman, who arrived in time, was so shocked that his face turned pale. He raised his eyebrows and snorted. Me? Stop him. Stop your grandpa. Do you know who this is? This is Master Yuan Lei. What? Master Yuan. Zhou Xiaoxiang's figure trembled as if he was struck by lightning, and he was terrified to the point he almost peed his pants on the spot. His countenance was pale to the extreme. Yuan Lei. This name reverberated like thunder in the ears. Perhaps his cultivation wasn't the strongest, but he was in charge of the safety of the big shots in the sea. He was the head of the Imperial Guards. Even when Lu Lishuan and Song Poju were still around, they didn't dare to provoke him. Master Yuan, you can't avenge private grudges. What right do you have to hit me? Zhou Xiaoxiang shouted fiercely. Avenge private grudges? Don't follow the law. Ha, how do you know Master Kang's identity? I'm just carrying out my duty by hitting you. According to the law, I can already kill you. Yuan Lei snorted with a mocking expression. Back then, he was contaminated by the blood breeds when he was protecting the important members of Huaxia. It was Jiang Tian who cured him. Since then, he treated Jiang Tian as his benefactor, as if he was his second parent. He would call him every time it was a holiday. Otherwise, he might become something that was neither human nor ghost. However, he didn't do it this time to repay a debt of gratitude. That was because Jiang Tian represented Sidoni, the ruler of a country. Huaxia valued him more than the king and prime minister. To put it bluntly, Jiang Tian's return was equivalent to a state visit. Under such circumstances, Zhou Xiaoxiang dared to provoke Jiang Tian. If Jiang Tian took it seriously, it would become a serious case involving foreign interests. He could even be treated as a terrorist and be killed on the spot. What duty are you carrying out? Kang Teichu is just a member of the Jianghu. You're clearly targeting me. Zhou Xiaoxiang shouted. Zhou Xiaoxiang's level was still too low. He could only hear rumors about Jiang Tian's abilities. He didn't know that Jiang Tian already had Sidoni under his control. All the major countries in the world strictly guarded this information and limited it to a certain level. Even the words, Medicine King Group and Kang Teichu were banned globally. Even if you climbed over the wall, you wouldn't be able to find any information on the search engine. Huaxia's network security management was second to none in the world. After Jiang Tian went overseas, Huaxia's network management department had almost completely wiped out all the information about Jiang Tian. Therefore, other than the top families, most people would not know that Jiang Tian had Sidoni under his control. News regarding Jiang Tian was practically all passed down by word of mouth. Everyone could only see bits and pieces, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. I'm targeting you, so what? Yuan Lei sneered and kicked his other leg, breaking the bone in his leg. Director Lu, this is bad. A group of people from the army is outside. I think they're from War Dragon. At this time, a female secretary ran in with an ashen face. She was so scared that she dropped one of her high heels. What? War Dragon? Lu Zicheng, the chairman of the airport group, was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He was about to go out and greet them. Whoosh! Tyrannosaurus led a group of fully armed war dragons and charged in majestically. There were more than 100 of them. Several soldiers flashed their relevant documents and cleared the place. All irrelevant people were to leave. Lu Zicheng. Who do you think you are? How dare you target our War Dragon's chief consultant of martial arts, Master Kang? Violent Dragon rushed in with big strides and shouted angrily with his bell-sized eyes. He was now the captain of War Dragon and had performed well. He had made a lot of contributions and was a real colonel. Who the fuck dares to detain our Master Kang's little animal? How dare you pick a fight with our War Dragon's chief consultant of martial arts? Do you want to die? Fuck, whoever dares to provoke Master Kang, I'll be the first to kill them. Who is it? Come out. The group of war dragons were all loaded with bullets. They were so angry that their faces were red. They rushed over murderously and wanted to kill the culprit on the spot. After all, it was Jiang Tian who was their martial arts consultant and pushed them to a higher level of inner strength. After Cheng Tian and the others sacrificed themselves, it was Jiang Tian who killed Xiao Bin to avenge the war dragons. It could be said that Jiang Tian was the person they admired the most. Now, such a small character dared to insult Jiang Tian. How could they stand it? They were so angry that they were about to explode. Hey, brother dragon, what wind blew you here? Put away the gun first. This thing is too scary. Lu Zicheng hurriedly greeted him with a face full of joy and said in a low voice, you can't blame me for this. It's all his fault. He pointed at Zhou Xiaoxiang who had fallen to the ground. You're the person in charge here. How can it not be your fault? Violent Dragon's ugly face darkened. Without saying a word, he kicked him to the ground. Lu Zicheng lay on the ground and pretended to be dead. He wanted to cry but had no tears. Just as I guessed, I knew I was going to be shot. This was an unexpected disaster. Senior Yuan Lei, you're here too. Violent Dragon cupped his hands at Yuan Lei. This was the etiquette of the martial arts world. Although they belonged to different departments, they had worked together many times and knew each other. They often drank together and bragged about their relationship with Master Kang. Violent Dragon and the others were proud of themselves as Master Kang's disciples. Yuan Lei, on the other hand, considered himself as Master Kang's patient. He often said, my old injury was cured by Master Kang. You guys didn't get the same treatment. His tail was wagging to the sky. Master Kang is back. How can I not come to welcome him? I'm not an ungrateful person. Yuan Lei cupped his hands and returned the greeting with a smile. I heard about that too. Violent Dragon's eyes dimmed and he nodded. It was said that Master Kang vomited blood, was injured, and had no cultivation. So what if he was injured? He was still the chief martial arts consultant of War Dragon. Moreover, he was injured when he fought against the United States. Which one of you has the ability to do that? So what if he has no cultivation? A tiger that has fallen from the sky is still a tiger. He's not someone that wild dogs like you can bully. Thinking of this, Violent Dragon's eyes turned cold and murderous. He walked toward Zhou Xiaoxiang and snorted, bastard, you actually dared to provoke Grandmaster Jiang. I say, do you want to die? Chapter 841. I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please spare my life. Zhou Xiaoxiang was so scared that he almost lost his mind. His face was ashen as he trembled. He was already scared when the Red Wall internal guards came over. After all, they represented the core power of the secular world. They were not people he could easily provoke. Whether Qin Zongheng could deal with them was already a problem. Now, Zhan Long was here. He was even more scared. Zhan Long was Chao Shixiang's direct disciple. He was known as the Small Long Formation and the Ace of Aces. His influence was too great. Fuck you. Now you know you were wrong. Where did you go just now? Violent Dragon's eyes were fierce and he was about to attack. Suddenly, a shout came. Violent Dragon, calm down. Let me do it. At that moment, everyone saw an old man in a training suit striding over. Wei Feilong, the president of Huaxia's Martial Arts Alliance. Even though Wei Feilong had joined the Tianqing school, the title of president of the Martial Arts Alliance had always been his. It was not because of anything else, but because he was Kang Teichu's disciple. Behind him were dozens of martial arts experts, including many internal force masters and transcendent masters. When Jiang Tian established the Tianqing school in Sidoni, he had taken away many of Huaxia's martial arts elites. As the saying went, one should never forget the person who dug the well. Jiang Tian had always had deep feelings for Hua Xia. He had never forgotten that he was a descendant of Hua Xia. According to his instructions, Wei Feilong had never left the Hua Xia martial arts alliance behind. He had also arranged more martial arts elites to resist the invasion of foreign experts. He often returned to Hua Xia from the Tianqing school with elixirs and cultivation methods to help and guide the martial arts experts guarding Hua Xia. In the past 2 years, he had cultivated more than 20 grandmasters. The strength of the Hua Xia martial arts alliance had not decreased but increased. It could be said that although Jiang Tian and the martial arts alliance were not master and disciple in name, they were master and disciple in reality. To be exact, they were all Jiang Tian's grand disciples. Therefore, in the Hua Xia martial arts alliance, Jiang Tian's position was even higher than Yi Tianren's. Violent Dragon stopped and chuckled. So it's Senior Wei Feilong. Why are you here? Back then, the Covenant of Darkness invaded Hua Xia. Zhan Long had also moved out and fought alongside the Hua Xia martial arts alliance led by Wei Feilong. They killed the vampires and the evil experts on the international stage and forged a deep friendship. Master Kang's return is of great importance. It's the biggest event in Hua Xia's martial arts world in 10 years. Wei Feilong laughed. As his disciple and the president of the Martial Arts Alliance, how can I not come to welcome him? So he was the president of the Martial Arts Alliance, Wei Feilong. Zhou Xiaoxiang looked at the amiable old man in shock, not daring to believe it. When Jiang Tian returned, the Red Wall Guards, Zhan Long, the president of the Martial Arts Alliance, and the Zhang family of Beijing all came to welcome him. There might even be some more powerful forces that did not show up. After all, Jiang Tian had already left the airport. The ones who came to deal with him were only a small part of Jiang Tian's forces. How could this be called losing face? If this was not enough, what was the point of having face? Zhou Xiaoxiang was now afraid and regretful. He was still too impatient and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. He had really been led astray by the comments on the internet. He thought that Jiang Tian had lost all his cultivation and no longer had any prestige in the country. After all, some small forums were abuzz with the news. However, even if Kang Taichu had lost all his cultivation and become a cripple, even if he lived overseas, his forces in Hua Xia still existed. They were even some of the top forces in the country. They were definitely not people he could afford to offend. President Wei, this was arranged by Qin Zongheng of the Qin family. I was just following orders. Zhou Xiaoxiang suddenly burst into tears and said, "Don't kill me, please don't kill me." The Red Wall internal guards and Battle Dragon were all organized and had to abide by the law. Even if they wanted to deal with him, they would probably go through legal procedures. He still had time to mediate and a chance to save his life. But martial artists were different. Chivalrous people broke the law with martial arts. For these martial artists who could kill without leaving a trace, the law was just a piece of paper. Master Kang always said that when an avalanche happens, no snowflake is innocent. Everyone has to be responsible for their own actions. Wei Feilong flew up and kicked Zhou Xiaoxiang in the chest, saying coldly, "If you had provoked Master Kang and begged for mercy, you would have been fine. Who knows how many bastards would have jumped out to annoy Master Kang in the future? That's too cruel. I just wanted to detain a big black dog in their house." Zhou Xiaoxiang was kicked more than 10 meters away. He immediately spat out blood and cried like a dying dog. "Damn, don't you know that you have to look at the owner before beating the dog? That's Master Kang's dog." Violent Dragon and the others sneered and shook their heads. Besides, it was not that simple. The key was that Zhao Xueqing was pregnant. "You've been causing trouble time and time again. First, you're not allowed to use the VIP passageway, and then you're holding people back. What if it affects the children? Who is this woman? She seemed to be disrespectful to Master Kang just now." At this time, Wei Feilong's eyes fell on Yan Di with a hint of coldness. Nothing, I just wanted to help Jiang Tian. Yan Di suddenly trembled in fear and her heart skipped a beat. Wei Feilong and the others immediately pulled up the surveillance footage and looked at it. Violent Dragon shook his head and said with a sinister smile, "That's very offensive. It's an innuendo. She seems to be the daughter-in-law of the Li family in Yanjin. Her name is Yan Di. The Li family has some influence in the customs." Zhan Long's intelligence network was super powerful. They confirmed her identity in seconds and reported it to them. The daughter-in-law of the Li family is trash. How dare she provoke Master Kong? Even if the head of the Li family is here, would he dare? A martial artist from the Martial Arts Alliance snorted angrily. Kill her. Break her legs. Everyone was enraged and yelled. Master Kong is as magnanimous as the ocean. He won't argue with you, but as his subordinates, we can't pretend that we didn't hear it. Wei Feilong's face flashed with anger as he looked at Yan Di. The Martial Arts Alliance of Hua Xia will wipe out this family. A Zhongshe realm expert shouted fiercely. Yan Di's face turned pale with fright. Her legs gave out and she knelt on the ground. You have misunderstood. Jiang Tian and I are childhood sweethearts. We are very close. My words are harsh, but that's because my EQ is too low. I'm not targeting Jiang Tian. She was really regretting it now. Jiang Tian was still Jiang Tian. He didn't lose his power like the rumors said. Even if he had lost his cultivation, he was still a powerful being who could decide the fate of a person and reverse the fate of an entire family. The funny thing was that she didn't know how powerful he was, yet she kept mocking and provoking Jiang Tian. In the end, she brought disaster to her husband's family just because of a few words. Childhood sweethearts. Wei Feilong was stunned. Indeed. His parents and Master Kang's parents, Jiang Zhixing and his wife, were university classmates. A Zhan Long who was in charge of intelligence said in a low voice. That's troublesome. Yuan Lei smacked his lips and said awkwardly. As the saying goes, distant relatives can't be separated. After all, this is Master Kang's childhood friend. It's not appropriate for us to act rashly. It's hard to predict the intentions of the higher-ups. It's not convenient for us to act. Yes, what if Master Kong doesn't want us to kill them and we kill them? That's right. Who can withstand Master Kang's thunderous anger? At the side, there were also people with solemn expressions who echoed in agreement. Wei Feilong pondered for a moment and looked at Yan Di. Miss Yan, we don't mean to make things difficult for you, but as Master Kang's disciples, we can't ignore Master Kang's dignity. In the end, how we deal with you depends on Master Kang's attitude. Whoever started the trouble should end it. Go and find Master Kong. As long as Master Kong gives us a definite answer, we'll pretend that nothing happened today. Yan Di nodded quickly and promised that she would ask Jiang Tian for forgiveness. Only then did everyone leave. Master, Madam, stay at the Shen residence tonight. Shen Mange said coquettishly in a car with a red flag license plate of the Government Administration Council. The ones who really took Jiang Tian away were Special Envoy Shen and Shen Mange. Shen Mange's cultivation had also improved. She was half a step away from the immortal state and had learned a lot. She could handle everything on her own. Therefore, she returned to Hua Xia and took charge of the Shenong school. In the next few days, Jiang Tian would meet with Chao Shixiang and the others to discuss the cooperation between the Kueilian and the military industry. Moreover, the One-Eye Fund, Morgan, Rockefeller, and DuPont families would attend the meeting. This time, in addition to the military industry, Huaxia officials would study opening up the financial, oil, and chemical industries to break the original monopoly. Of course, Huaxia would not suffer losses. Because these three families and the One-Eye Fund on Wall Street were all controlled by Jiang Tian. Opening up and cooperation would only make Huaxia's financial, oil, and other industries stronger. Next to him, Zhang Huchen said with a pleading face, Jiang Tian, you'd better go back to the Zhang family. Your grandparents miss you very much and have talked about you many times. Besides, your parents are there too. Chapter 842. Another spring festival came. Zhang Wanqing returned to Beijing and lived with her husband in the Zhang family's main residence. Ever since Jiang Tian returned, the Zhang family did not betray the Jiang family despite the pressure from the Lu and Song families and the invasion of the Covenant of Darkness. Zhang Wanqing's relationship with the Zhang family was getting better. After all, blood was thicker than water. Jiang Tian said calmly, "Let's stay at the Shen family's house for now." He did not have a good impression of Zhang Jinghua and Zhang Zhonghua. Zhang Huchen could only look resentful, but there was nothing he could say. It was their fault for being so blind. Everyone settled down in an elegant villa in the Shen family's house. After washing up, Jiang Tian sat down on the sofa and asked gently, "Qing'er, how are you feeling? Are you tired?" "I'm a little tired. This little girl is not quiet at all. She's kicking around." Zhao Xueqing drank the ginseng soup and said with a smile, "She doesn't have a good appetite. She only wants to eat spicy food." "Sour boy and spicy girl. You're pregnant with my baby. How can you not want to eat spicy food?" Jiang Tian's face was filled with happiness. He rubbed Qing'er's belly and felt the fire of that cute little life. "Wait, I'll make you a spicy one. Didn't I tell you that I'm best at Sichuan cuisine?" Beside him, Zhang Huchen said excitedly, "Brother Tian, sister-in-law, I know that there's a Sichuan restaurant called Spicy Nation in the courtyard of the Yanjing Hotel. It's so awesome. That's spicy." This guy was very shameless. Jiang Tian was obviously older than him, but he called him brother and sister-in-law, and it was very smooth. "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm going to make tiger meat for my wife. Do you have it there?" Jiang Tian glared at him and shouted, "Can you stop disturbing our two-person world? Why don't you get out of here?" "What tiger meat?" Zhao Xueqing glared at Jiang Tian and said, "Even if I can take it, our daughter might not be able to. Let's go to the Sichuan restaurant at the Yanjin Hotel." "Okay. Then let's go." Jiang Tian listened to everything his wife said and agreed readily. At this moment, Zhang Wanqing called. "What's going on? I haven't seen Qing'er since she got pregnant. Where did you kidnap my wife? You're not going home either. If you want to see him, then let's have dinner together," Jiang Tian said with a smile. When Yan Di got home, she immediately told her husband, Li Jianwei, about what happened at the airport this afternoon. "That's all there is to it. That bullshit Master Kong isn't going to make it. Number 1. Since when was that? Why are you talking to him?" Li Jianwei said casually. His family was very influential in the general administration of customs and held the position of deputy director. He was the cousin of Mo Yuza, the crown prince of Yanjing. If it was a few years ago when Jiang Tian was still in his prime, he might have been afraid of Jiang Tian. But now, he didn't care about Jiang Tian at all. Moreover, Mo Yuza had booked the entire Yanjin Hotel for the birthday banquet tonight. How could he delay the banquet and apologize to that bullshit Kong Taichu? But the Red Wall Internal Guards, Battle Dragon, and Martial Arts Alliance have all made their move. He's still strong. The more Yan Di thought about it, the paler his face became. "Why don't you ask our mother to talk to Aunt Zhang Wanqing? They're all university classmates. Wasn't that bullshit Medicine King group forced to withdraw from the market? That's the consequence of Kong Taichu offending the Lu and Song families." Li Jianwei pursed his lips and said disdainfully, "He can't even beat the Lu and Song families, and he wants to fight with me? Besides, I have young Master Mo behind me." The most powerful person in Li Jianwei's family was only a deputy director. They could only be considered a second or third-tier family. Therefore, he still didn't know the real story. He knew that Jiang Tian had defeated Zhang Qianlei, the Lu and Song family's official, but that was all he knew. In the end, the Medicine King Group was forced to withdraw from the market and move to Sidoni for strategic reasons. However, the Lu and Song families had slandered the Medicine King Group in order to maintain the stability of their families. They said that the Jiang family of Medicine King Group was forced to leave by the Lu and Song families. Even the financial media said so. Li Jianwei believed it. As for the news that the Lu and Song families were wiped out by Jiang Tian overseas, this news was strictly guarded by the government and never reached the ears of the public. Only the top people in the industry knew about it. Li Jianwei didn't even know about it. After all, it was Jiang Tian and the Long Formation's private law enforcement. The underworld was too strong. It was fine as long as the goal of eliminating the traitors was achieved. There was no need for it to be exposed. Therefore, the news of Lu Jinghua and Song Beishan dying of illness in the United States was spread. There were even obituaries on TV. Young Lord Mo. Yan Di suddenly felt emboldened. She raised her eyebrows and said with disdain, "That's true. We have young Lord Mo's support. What are we afraid of? Jiang Tian is just a nobody." Young Lord Mo, Mo Yuza, was one of the four princes of Yanjin. His father was an important official in the navy. Mo Yuza was more powerful than Lu Lishuan, Zhang Jiangfeng, and Song Poju. However, at this time, Yan Di, you knelt down at the airport. Suddenly, a fair-skinned woman in a red silk cheongsam walked over in high heels. She raised her eyebrows and shouted. Yan Di was the daughter-in-law of the Li family and attracted a lot of attention. The news quickly spread. Mo Yunyun, Li Jianwei's mother, was furious. Wasn't this just Yan Di's honor and disgrace? Wasn't this throwing away the Li family's face? Yes. Yan Di blushed and was about to explain. Smack. Mo Yunyun gave Yan Di a slap, which caused Yan Di to stagger. A few clear handprints appeared on her beautiful face. Mom, Yan Di felt wronged. Li Jianwei shouted. Mom? How dare you call me mom? Mo Yunyun angrily shouted, what? You shouldn't have knelt down. Who in Yanjin dares to make the Mo family kneel? Yan Di was speechless. That's Zhang Wanqing's son. Li Jianwei frowned and explained, he's also from a powerful family. Mom, don't make things difficult for Yan Di. So what if he's Zhang Wanqing's son? Is Zhang Wanqing here? Is she purposely making things difficult for me? Mo Yunyun's well-maintained face was covered with frost. A glint of coldness flashed in her clear eyes. She was jealous of Zhang Wanqing. She even hated her a little. The Mo family was one of the oldest families in Yanjin. Back then, Mo Yunyun and Zhang Wanqing were both born in wealthy families. They were the heiresses of Yanjin, just like Han Qingli, Xia Lin, and Li Yanmei. They had similar backgrounds and were of the same age. Mo Yunyun couldn't help but compare with Zhang Wanqing in secret. Especially when they were in university. Zhang Wanqing was known as the prettiest girl in Yanjin. Many rich young men pursued her and Mo Yunyun liked one of them. Therefore, even now, when Zhang Wanqing was mentioned, Mo Yunyun felt very uncomfortable in her heart. However, Zhang Wanqing married a poor guy in Jinlin City and was removed from the Zhang family. Mo Yunyun felt good for a while. She didn't expect that Zhang Wanqing's son would dare to bully her daughter-in-law and force her to kneel. Are you trying to slap me in the face? Zhang Wanqing wasn't here. Yan Di covered his face and shivered like a quail in the cold wind as he said softly. Seeing her like this, Mo Yunyun was even more disappointed. Although Yan Jianfan and his wife were considered high-level intellectuals, they were nothing compared to the real rich families. This daughter-in-law was too lousy. She asked Li Jianwei to pursue Shin Mange, but he didn't pursue her. In the end, he married such a good-for-nothing girl. Yan Di, ask your parents to accompany me tonight. I want to meet Zhang Wanqing, my old classmate. Mo Yunyun sneered and gritted her teeth. Does he think that she's so great now that the Zhang family has risen? He really doesn't know his place. Humph, compared to me, Emma Yunyun, she's still far behind. In her opinion, even if the Zhang family rose, Zhang Wanqing still couldn't compare to her. Zhang Zhonggua, the pillar of the Zhang family, was only from Yanjin. Her brother, on the other hand, was working in the sea. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She sneered proudly. This time, I'm going to punish him properly. I'm going to make that bastard Jiang Tian kneel down and admit his mistake. Mom, that Jiang Tian is a martial arts expert. He defeated the Lu Song family's consecrator before. Yan Di explained. Although he doesn't have any cultivation now, he still has people supporting him. Today, he has, Yan Di had to explain himself. Mo Yunyun didn't know about these things, and she wasn't interested in them at all. A political and business family had their pride. How could the commoners of Jianghu compare to those who lived high up in the imperial court? No matter how high one's cultivation was, would they be able to withstand the firepower of an army? Bah! What martial arts expert? They're all crooked. How can they be compared to the national army? Mo Yunyun heard a few words and interrupted disdainfully. Martial arts families use martial arts to violate the law. The country rejects and oppresses them. If they piss me off, I'll raze them to the ground with cannons. Jiang Tian is nothing. If Jiang Tian was really capable, why would the Lu and Song families force the Jiang family and the Medicine King group to go overseas? He's like a stray dog. It's obvious that there's no place for him. The people in the sea don't like him. Otherwise, why would he be willing to give up his position and go to that godforsaken place? Chapter 843. On Chang'an Street, in the largest private room of the Yanjing Hotel, Spicy Sichuan Restaurant. Oh, Xueqing, you're finally pregnant with my granddaughter. Zhang Wanqing was overjoyed. She kept touching her daughter-in-law's slightly bulging belly. At this banquet, Zhang Jinghua, Zhang Zhonggua, and Zhang Qingji knew that they were disliked by Jiang Tian, so they didn't attend. They didn't want to upset Jiang Tian. Of course, etiquette couldn't be lacking. They would visit Zhao Xueqing alone at other times. Only Zhang Yilin, Zhang Jiangfeng, Zhang Huchen, and Henga attended. These two took the initiative to serve tea and water. These two were doing well in Yanjing. They were famous young masters, but compared to Jiang Tian, they were nothing. It should be known that those who could be friends with Jiang Tian were all existences such as the President of the United States or the President of the European Union. These young masters of wealthy families were still far from him. Besides, Shen Mange, Sasaki Haisha, and Huang Linger didn't attend. After all, this was a family banquet. Jiang Zhixing also rubbed his hands excitedly and gave important instructions. You must increase your nutrition and rest well. You have to take good care of Jiang Tian. If anything happens to Xueqing, I'll tell you. He glared and said seriously, your mother and I don't want to live anymore. The assassination of the Covenant of Darkness made Jiang Zhixing realize that if he kept showing up in public, it would seriously affect Jiang Tian's career. Therefore, he made a sacrifice and retired at the last moment. He directly handed in his resignation to the central government. Now he was the chairman of the Medicine King Charity Foundation. Most of the time, he lived in Sidoni, and occasionally returned to Huaxia. In his heart, as long as he could contribute to Huaxia, it didn't matter what work he did. Jiang Zhixing had the backbone of a traditional intellectual. He was patriotic and had no political ambitions. He was also not a fan of politics. After chatting for a while, Zhang Wanqing smiled and said, Son, Qinger, I have a few friends coming over. You don't mind, right? They're all university classmates and friends from back then. No way. Jiang Tian quickly said, you can make an appointment another day. Don't disturb my wife. You've really forgotten your mother after marrying a wife. Zhang Wanqing did not intend to insist. What are you talking about? Now that the children are involved, we can always make an appointment with Yan Jianfan. Jiang Zhixing also cherished his future granddaughter very much. Jiang Tian, do you have to be so nervous? Although Zhao Xueqing felt sweet in her heart, she was still very sensible. It's okay, Mom. It's not easy for you to come back to China. It's rare for you to get together. Let them come. Zhang Wanqing then called Yan Jianfan and his wife. Old Jiang, Wanqing, how many years has it been since we last met? Wanqing, you're getting more and more beautiful. Look at me, I'm getting old. A moment later. Yan Jianfan brought his wife, daughter, and Mo Yunyun over. Yan Jianfan, his wife Su Lulu, Mo Yunyun, and Jiang Zhixing and his wife were all university classmates. Zhang Danfeng and Zhang Huchen were still quite respectful towards Mo Yunyun. After all, her brother was a high-ranking official in the navy. Although he was only her cousin, they were still related by blood. There were rules within the system. The two of them were quite enthusiastic. Jiang Tian could not be bothered to chat with this group of old uncles and aunties. He just kept putting food in Qing'er's bowl and serving her tea. Qing'er ate very happily. Her forehead was covered in sweat. She pouted her bright red lips and sucked here and there. She was very happy. When they first met, the atmosphere was quite good. After all, they were all in their 20s and came from wealthy families. They were well educated. Only a shrew would do such a thing. Mo Yunyun would never do such a thing. They toasted each other and chatted for a while. Mo Yunyun could not hold back her anger when she saw Jiang Tian like this. She became more and more annoyed. This Jiang Tian couple was going too far, wasn't they? This adulterous couple forced my daughter-in-law to kneel and slapped the Mo family in the face. How can they sit still and not say a word? They only care about their wife. At that moment, Mo Yunyun said sarcastically, Wanqing, your son must be very powerful, right? Where is he working? Is it the government or some listed company? She could tell that something was off. Zhang Wanqing smiled and said, he's at Medicine King Group. How can he be in the system, fighting and robbing people every day? That was true. Jiang Tian fought the Covenant of Darkness and suppressed the Cosmic Shield. Wasn't that just fighting? Jiang Tian was not wrong to say that he was robbing people. He fought the Covenant of Darkness to short the euro and plundered all of Europe's wealthy families. He even took down 3 major American conglomerates. Wasn't that just robbery? Medicine King Group, Su Lulu smiled but did not say anything. She snorted disdainfully. Don't put up a strong front. Wasn't Medicine King Group forced out of the country by the Lu and Song families? There's no Medicine King Group left. Mo Yunyun smiled and said, Jiang Tian's temper is still so bad. He's bullying the Mo family now. What's going on? Zhang Wanqing frowned and looked at Jiang Tian. Don't accuse me, Yan Di. When did I bully you? Jiang Tian did not know. He was only concerned about taking care of Qing'er and had already left the airport. Yan Di was a little afraid of Jiang Tian at first, but when he came to take a look, he found that it was not the case at all. Zhang Huchen and Zhang Danfeng were even a little subservient to her mother-in-law and husband. The key was that she thought that Zhang Wanqing's background, husband, children, assets, and status were all inferior to hers. She could completely crush Zhang Wanqing. She had been suppressed by Zhang Wanqing since she was a child. She had been suppressing the anger in her heart for decades. Now that her daughter-in-law was being bullied by Jiang Tian, how could she not get back at him? Jiang Zhixing and his wife could only smile bitterly and remain silent. Jiang Tian smiled mockingly and said, Auntie Mo, I don't mind if you say anything else. But if you say that I'm not filial to my mother, then I'm not happy. Jones Jewelry, Annalyn's Cosmetics, Bordeaux Wine. My mother can have as much as she wants. But my mother has already seen through these things. She doesn't want them even if I give them to her. Auntie Mo, you're considered a socialite in Yanjin, but now you've fallen to such a state that you need to use these luxuries to make yourself look good. I'm very disappointed. Hearing this, Su Lulu's face froze. She smiled and said, "What are you talking about?" Mo Yunyun was even angrier. She mocked, "Jiang Tian, are you crazy? You want as much as you want. Jones Jewelry, Annalyn's, Bordeaux Wine, these international brands are all yours?" "Yes, they're mine." Jiang Tian sipped his tea and nodded casually. "Keep bragging." Mo Yunyun almost laughed out loud. His eyebrows were raised so high that they almost reached the sky. He snorted disdainfully. "I still don't know what kind of person you are. You're just a good-for-nothing." Jones Jewelry and Annalyn belong to the Rothschild family. Bordeaux belongs to the Tantorn family. When did they become yours? She said arrogantly. To tell you the truth, I have the right to speak directly with the Tantorn Manor and the Rothschild family. Just last week, I went to Europe for a vacation and was invited by them. Jiang Tian almost spat out his wine. "Auntie Mo, you're so smart. You can talk to ghosts." These two families had been wiped out by him. How could they receive her? They could only be ghosts. "What are you talking about?" Mo Yunyun's face was cold. She slammed the table and said angrily, "Jiang Tian, no matter what, I'm your elder. If you dare to talk to me like that again, I'll cut your head off." Chapter 844. Let me tell you, I have connections overseas. The Lu family and the Song family are very close to me. She was really confident. Her cousin was a high-ranking official in the Navy, and her husband was also very influential in the customs. What did Zhang Wanqing have? She only had one brother, Zhang Zhonggua, who was in Yanjin and didn't have the chance to enter the sea. As for her relationship with the Lu family and the Song family, she was just bragging. The Mo family and the Lu family and the Song family belonged to two completely different factions. She was just trying to make herself look good. Zhang Wanqing was also a bit annoyed. She frowned and said, "You're going to kill a kid just because he argued with you? Do you still think of me as your old classmate?" "Yeah, it's just a misunderstanding. Please don't be angry." Seeing that they were about to quarrel, Yan Jianfan also comforted Mo Yunyun. "I have a feeling that Jiang Tian is not that simple. Please don't fall out with him. Otherwise, you will regret it." If Jiang Tian wasn't doing well, he would at least try to curry favor with the Mo family. However, Jiang Tian had been taking care of Zhao Xueqing from the start to the end and didn't pay any attention to them. How confident was he? Go away. Why are you helping an outsider? Is there something wrong with your brain? Mo Yunyun had always looked down on Yan Jianfan's family. Yan Jianfan's face turned red, but he didn't dare to say anything. Their family was just a family of intellectuals. They couldn't be compared to the Mo family at all. Usually, they didn't have much say. The atmosphere was awkward. Zhang Wanqing placed her hand on her forehead. She didn't expect the gathering to turn out like this. If she had known, she wouldn't have invited them. Su Lulu also said, "Wanqing, my mother-in-law said that for Jiang Tian's sake. Today, we ran into our own people. Otherwise, with Jiang Tian acting so recklessly, something would definitely have happened. If my mother-in-law didn't care about our friendship, he wouldn't be alive." When Yan Di saw that he could trample Jiang Tian under his feet, he felt very happy. He snorted disdainfully in his heart. "Fortunately, I broke up with you back then. Otherwise, who knows what you've done to me? You may have some ability, but you are too brainless and too arrogant." Seeing that Zhang Wanqing was speechless, Mo Yunyun thought that he had gained the upper hand. He sneered arrogantly and said, Zhang Wanqing, just based on the fact that the two of you are in such a state, just based on the fact that your incompetent son is dragging you down, what qualifications do you have to be my classmate? There's no need to eat this meal. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Jiang Bangxia pushed the door open and entered. She sat down beside Zhang Wanqing and said coquettishly, Auntie, this trip to Europe is so tiring. You have to reward me. Behind her were a few blonde assistants. They had an extraordinary aura and were obviously business elites. Hello, Chairman. They respectfully bowed deeply to Zhang Wanqing and then silently stood behind Jiang Bangxia. What do you want? Tell me. Zhang Wanqing is in a better mood and said with a smile. Drink some water. Zhang Danfeng's eyes lit up. She quickly handed over a cup of water and asked with concern, Is Europe going well? Although the two could be called cousins from Jiang Tian's relationship, they were actually not related by blood. In the past few years, the Zhang and Jiang families have cooperated a lot. The two have also had a lot of contact. He slowly developed feelings for Jiang Bangxia. It's going well. Jiang Bangxia took a sip of tea and reported to Jiang Tian and Zhang Wanqing. It's mainly to inspect the operations of several brands such as Aniline, Jones Jewelry, and Bordeaux Winery. I also brought an accounting company to review the financial affairs. In the past few months, these companies have been running well. Especially Jones Jewelry, which cooperated with Hilton Hotel to set up a duty-free shopping store in the hotel. In 2011, the profit should be 5 billion euros. What? As soon as this sentence came out, Mo Yunyun, Su Lulu, Yan Jianfan, and Yan Di were all stunned. They looked at each other in disbelief. Su Lulu has lived in Jinling for a long time. Although she moved to Yanjing, she also had an impression of Jiang Bangxia. She smiled and asked, Isn't this Jiang Bangxia? Why are you reporting this to Jiang Tian? These companies are all under Jiang Tian. If I don't report to them, who should I report to? Jiang Bangxia looked confused. These companies are all Jiang Tian's. Everyone only felt dizzy. They couldn't believe it and looked at each other. That's right. If you want to buy these brands in the future, call me. I'll give you a discount. Jiang Bangxia took out her business card and distributed it around. She smiled and said, But now Jiang Tian has given all of them to my aunt. The business is too small. Jiang Tian doesn't have time to take care of it. If you call my aunt, it'll probably be free of charge. Everyone was stunned. They were so shocked that their faces turned pale. The corners of their mouths twitched crazily. Just Bordeaux Winery alone was the world's top high-end red wine brand. It was a weapon for the rich and powerful to show off. Its value was probably about the same as Huaxia's Maotai. It was at least 100 billion yuan. This was called a small business. Then what kind of business did Jiang Tian do? According to Jiang Tian's instructions, we registered a few shadow companies in the Cayman Islands that were actually controlled by you. These companies have now all been placed under these shadow companies. Jiang Bangxia waved her hand. A staff member behind her took out a stack of documents and handed it to Zhang Wanqing. Mo Yunyun and the others actually had some international business experience. They could tell that these documents were all real when they looked at them. Looking at Jiang Bangxia's entourage who didn't dare to sit on the table, they were clearly the general manager of Anna, the financial director of Bordeaux Winery, the chief designer of Jones Jewelry, and so on. In an instant, Mo Yunyun's face was as red as a monkey's butt. She wanted to find a hole to hide in. Just now, she was showing off to Zhang Wanqing that she could afford these brands and that her son had a company with assets of 10 billion yuan. But now she realized that these brands were Zhang Wanqing's. Didn't that mean she could use as much as she wanted? The funny thing was that she kept laughing at Jiang Tian and the others, thinking that they were bragging. In the end, it turned out that Jiang Tian wasn't bragging at all. It was her who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. By the way, Auntie, the material of this diamond necklace was taken from the king's crown and scepter. It was given to the chief designer of Jones Jewelry to design and create. Do you think it suits you? At this time, Jiang Banxia's voice fell. Chairman, please take a look. The chief designer of Jones Jewelry behind her immediately took out a red velvet box and carefully handed it to Zhang Wanqing. The whole necklace was composed of the world's most advanced diamonds. Layer upon layer, it could cover half of a person's chest. It looked sparkling and dazzling. Among them, the heaviest one was pear-shaped and weighed 532 carats. This giant diamond was called the Star of Africa. It had 74 facets and was previously inlaid on the king's scepter. It was also the world's largest diamond so far. It turned out that when Jiang Tian raided Buckingham Palace, he saw the king's crown and scepter. Originally, these things were useless to him, but he thought that maybe his mother, Qing'er, would like them, so he took them away. Later, he felt that the king's crown and scepter were not suitable for him, so he gave them to Jiang Banxia and asked her to find Jones Jewelry to remove all the diamonds and gemstones and redesign them into necklaces, earrings, and rings. This is the Star of Africa. It's too shiny. Zhang Huchen's eyes were glowing like a wolf's. The Star of Africa. Just this one alone is worth at least 300 million euros, which is 3 billion yuan. Su Lulu only felt dizzy. Her brain was not enough to process it. In 2011, at the Basel Jewelry Exhibition, a 150-carat full diamond ring was sold for 100 million euros. And this one was more than 3 times the weight of his. Moreover, it was the world's largest diamond. It was probably worth 300 to 500 million euros. If the other hundreds of bright diamonds were added, the value was difficult to measure. It was probably close to 2 billion euros. I saw this necklace at Jones Jewelry Exhibition before. An American tycoon offered 2 billion euros to buy it, but he couldn't get it. At that time, it was only on display, not for sale. Mo Yunyun was in a daze. She felt a sharp pain in her chest and found it difficult to breathe. She never thought that Zhang Wanqing's financial resources were so strong. A necklace was worth more than 20 billion yuan. She had worked so hard to build a foreign trade company, and Zhang Wanqing could buy 1 necklace, and 2 more. Zhang Wanqing furrowed her brows and said calmly, "That's right. This diamond is too heavy and too big. If I wear it on my neck, I will get cervical spondylosis." Behind Jiang Banxia, the chief designer of Jones Jewelry was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his forehead and his legs turned to jelly. Unfortunately, his Mandarin was average. He was tongue-tied for a long time and could not say a word. "Auntie, I am willing to get cervical spondylosis." Jiang Banxia laughed out loud. Then, she frowned and said helplessly, "These diamonds were originally taken from the scepter of the King of England. When they were cut, they were not made into necklaces. The designer is also in a difficult position. If they are cut again, the value of the diamonds will be damaged. They can only use the original shape. Qing'er, why don't you wear it? Consider it my blessing for your pregnancy." Zhang Wanqing pushed the necklace in front of Zhao Xueqing and said softly. Seeing this, Yandi's eyes widened. He was shocked, envious, and jealous. There was also a bit of bitter regret in his heart. Zhao Xueqing's mother-in-law was too generous. She gave away 20 billion worth of jewelry. Yet, her own mother-in-law was bossing her around and slapping her at every turn. When had she ever loved and cherished her so much? If she had been discerning and had been with Jiang Tian, wouldn't this diamond necklace have been hers? "Mom, I don't want it." Zhao Xueqing shook her head gently as if she was looking at a straw rope. She smiled faintly and said, "This shiny thing is no different from glass. It can only attract those superficial women." Wow! Mo Yunyun's face, which was already red from embarrassment, turned red again. It was as if blood was about to drip out. She felt that her face had been slapped swollen. Slap, 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 slap. She hurriedly covered the sapphire ring on her finger that she was once proud of. Chapter 845. Mo Yunyun couldn't take it anymore. She felt like a clown. She was so proud of her jewelry that was worth hundreds of thousands of yuan. She wanted to show it off. In the end, Jiang Yuning didn't even look at it and gave 20 billion yuan worth of jewelry to a junior sister-in-law. I'm that kind of shallow and vulgar woman. Jiang Bangxia slapped her thigh and giggled. If you don't want it, can you give it to me? I'll give it to you. You've worked hard in Europe some time ago. You deserve a reward. Zhang Wanqing smiled faintly. Zhang Wanqing was referring to the fact that Jiang Bangxia had been detained during the Covenant of Darkness. Although she did not suffer much, it was inevitable that she would be frightened. This child could withstand the test. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, sister-in-law. Thank you, Brother Tian. Jiang Bangxia was overjoyed. She smiled like a flower. Especially Auntie. She's so domineering. She's the mother of the world. 20 billion Huaxia dollars. The hard work of the past few years was worth it. If she were on Wall Street, she might not be able to earn so much in her lifetime. Wanqing, Zhixing, enjoy your meal. I still have a banquet to attend. I'll take my leave first. Seeing this, Mo Yunyun couldn't stay any longer. Her face turned red and green. She forced a smile and jumped out like a stray dog. Her face was swollen. She had no intention of staying there. She showed off that her family was rich, had good gestures, had branded cosmetics, and drank red wine. In the end, those big brands all belonged to others. This realm was too far apart. One was in the sky and the other was on the ground. There was no way to compare. It was impossible to catch up. Wanqing, let's meet again when we have time. Before Su Lulu left, she smiled flatteringly at Zhang Wanqing. She probably felt that if she could curry favor with the Jiang family, there would be a lot of benefits. The contrast between her arrogance and deference was very clear. Sigh, what's wrong with them? After they left, Jiang Zhixing felt that the world was overflowing with people's hearts. He shook his head and sighed. She used to be a good classmate. At this age, she's in her 50s and 60s. She's almost a grandmother. She still wants to compete for power, money, and status. Don't laugh at me. She's been like this since she was young. She's been praised and pampered by a circle of people for so many years. She hasn't gone through any trials and tribulations. Do you think she can make any progress? Zhang Wanqing also shook her head in disappointment. Even though she's almost 50 years old, she's still a young girl in terms of wisdom. Mo Yunyun walked out in a daze. She wanted to cry but had no tears. When she went down the stairs, she slipped and almost fell. Little hussy, how dare you challenge me, Mo Yunyun? Pa! She raised her hand and slapped the waitress opposite her, causing her to almost fall to the ground. When did I challenge you? The waiter was dumbfounded, but he didn't dare to say anything. Mo Yunyun even brought along bodyguards. One look and one could tell that he was either rich or respectable. How could a small fry like her afford to offend him? Mo Yunyun was treating this waitress as Zhang Wanqing. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Who do you think you are, Zhang Wanqing? All you have is some stinky money. How dare you show off in front of me? When I left, she didn't even send me off. She's so arrogant. No way. I'll definitely get my revenge. She clenched her silver teeth and trembled with anger. Zhang Wanqing was right. Even though this woman was 50 years old, she was still childish. She still wanted to compete with others. When they arrived at the hall, suddenly, Yan Di frowned and stared at a tall girl wearing sunglasses. Hey, isn't this the superstar, Li Huiyan? Why is she here? What superstar? She's just an actress. Can't you be more knowledgeable? Mo Yunyun said angrily. Nope. I heard that Mo Yuza invited her to his birthday party today, but she said she wasn't feeling well and politely declined. Yen Di said, why is she here? Mo Yunyun looked back and her eyes lit up. TSK, she went to Jiang Tian's room. What do you think will happen if Mo Yuza finds out about this? Mo Yuza called Mo Yunyun his aunt. However, the Mo family had replaced the Liu and Song families. They were one of the top political families in Yanjin. There were too many family members in the family. Mo Yunyun was, in fact, a distant relative. In short, she couldn't use the power of the Mo family. However, Mo Yuza, who was the direct descendant of the Mo family, was different. He could. Where do you think Zhang Wanqing got so much money? I think Jiang Zhixing took bribes. Su Lulu said, fanning the flames. Yen Di also said, that's right. She forced me to kneel. I can't just let this go. Is an apology enough? I want Jiang Tian to kneel before me. Mo Yunyun was beaming with joy. She snapped her fingers and said proudly, let Mo use a pressure her and scare her. Say that you want to investigate them. I'll see if she's not scared enough to kneel and beg for mercy. Jiang Zhixing will be safe after he retires. He'll be able to do whatever he wants. Bah! Yan Jianfan panicked and said angrily, oh my god, don't make trouble. Jiang Tian is too scary. We can't afford to offend him. He was known as the Master Kong of Jinlin City because of his Dharma spells. I can't afford to offend him. Mo Yunyun smirked and said, who do you think he is? The President of the United States or the Emperor of Russia? There's no one in Huaxia that I can't afford to offend. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Old Yen, we have to vent our anger. This is about the reputation of our in-laws. Su Lulu also smirked and said, Jiang Tian might have some influence in Jinlin City, but this is Yanjin. Besides, he's no longer the Master Kong of old. Everyone says that he's done for. I don't care. I want Jiang Tian to kneel and apologize to me. Yen Di also said angrily. Let me tell you, if you insist on doing things your own way, if you insist on acting recklessly, you will suffer losses and regret it. Yan Jianfan said angrily. He didn't have the right to speak in front of his in-laws. It was useless even if he said it 100 times. Tell them that Li Huiyan went to Jiang Tian's room. Mo Yunyun gave Yen Di a look. Yen Di called her husband Li Jianwei, who was at Mo Yu's birthday party. Yanjin Grand Hotel and Spicy Hot Pot Restaurant weren't far from each other. They were in the same compound. At the moment, the entire hotel was cleared out and no guests were allowed to enter. Everyone in the venue was either rich or powerful. An international pianist was playing a piece in front of a Yamaha piano in the distance. Not only were the rich and powerful gathered there, but there were also many popular actresses such as Yang Mi and Reba, which added a touch of glamour to the party. More than half of the top 20 tycoons in Huaxia were there, which showed how powerful young Master Mo Yuchen was in Yanjin. Happy birthday, young Master Mo. Many rich people raised their glasses and looked at the powerful young Master Mo with envy and admiration. As for the celebrities who were regarded as goddesses, they didn't even have the right to get close to him. Mo Yu's face was cold and his eyes were indifferent. He nodded slightly and took a sip. The top tycoons in Huaxia finished the wine in their glasses and didn't dare to leave a drop in it. Young Master Mo, I don't have much to give you. I bought a courtyard house in Yanjin as a gift. One of the richest men in China's real estate industry took out a key and said in a humble voice, "Thank you for your generosity." Brother Wang, it's just a courtyard house. Don't you think it's embarrassing to give it to young Master Mo? Another tycoon said with a fake smile. They were all around Mo Yuza, trying to please him like the eunuchs of the ancient emperors. Ha, that courtyard house was the old residence of an Iron Hat king in the Qing dynasty. The tycoon with the surname Wang laughed and said proudly. The Iron Hat king's residence. Ahem, brother Wang, forget what I said. The tycoon smiled awkwardly and quickly hid behind the crowd. Hiss. At this moment, many tycoons sucked in a breath of cold air as if they had a toothache. The residence of the Iron Hat king in the Qing dynasty was extremely valuable. The land alone could be sold for billions if it was dismantled and sold. Moreover, it had cultural value and couldn't be replicated. Everyone sighed. No wonder Boss Wang's business was getting bigger and bigger. He had spent a lot of money to please young Master Mo. At this moment, Li Jianwei walked over and said in a low voice, "Cousin, Li Huiyan isn't sick. She's having a hot pot with a few friends at the spicy hot pot restaurant." My family saw her. Mo Yuza's face suddenly changed and his eyes turned cold. Li Huiyan had become popular in Huaxia and the rest of the world. She had received a lot of resources from Hollywood and quickly became the most popular celebrity in Huaxia. Li Huiyan instantly became the target of many rich young masters. Even Mo Yuza fell in love with her at first sight. This time, Mo Yuza invited Li Huiyan to his birthday party, but she declined with the excuse that she wasn't feeling well. Now it seemed that Li Huiyan didn't give him face. Mo Yuza knew that Li Huiyan had a lot of resources. He even heard that Zhang Huchen from the Zhang family was supporting her from behind the scenes. However, in Mo Yuza's eyes, Zhang Huchen was nothing. Zhang Zhonghua hadn't even entered the sea yet. Ha, so Li Huiyan was pretending to be sick. How dare she not give face to me, Mo Yuza. She's got guts. Mo Yuza laughed self-deprecatingly. Deep in his eyes, there was resentment and anger. Chapter 846. Of course, a powerful and influential person like him couldn't marry a female celebrity like Li Huiyan. Big families were all connected by marriage based on benefits. Marrying a female celebrity was simply laughable. In the crowd, the female celebrity named Yang Mi sneered with a thick nasal voice, "Young Master Mo, that Li Huiyan is very arrogant now." At the beginning of the year, she even trampled on a group of celebrity directors from Hong Kong. Now, she doesn't even care about the celebrities from the mainland. She fanned the flames and said, "Last time, I was in the same group as her." She even ordered the director and a senior like me around. "She's arrogant, but I didn't expect that she would even dare to go against you. She really doesn't care about you." Speaking of which, Yang Mi and Jiang Tian had some history. Back then, Jiang Tian had beaten up Lu Zikuan's son, Lu Jinrong, on Yi Gufeng's gambling cruise ship. At that time, Yang Mi was with Lu Jinrong. She was born in an alley and had very low quality. Her acting skills were clumsy, but she was willing to give up her good looks. She slept with investors and directors all the way. Now, she was also one of the 4 young actresses. Her reputation was rising and her influence was growing. However, compared to Li Huiyan, she was too far behind. After all, Li Huiyan had already gone international and acted as the female lead in a big Hollywood production. Even the famous Guo Ji Miao paled in comparison. This made Yang Mi, who debuted at the same time as Li Huiyan, hold a grudge. She was extremely jealous and hateful. "What did you say?" Mo Yuza looked at Li Huiyan and snorted coldly. "Young Master Mo, Yang Mi was so scared that her face turned pale. Her legs went soft and she almost sat on the ground. She knew that Mo Yuza was very obsessed with Li Huiyan. She originally hoped that with her glib tongue, she could dispel Mo Yuza's love for Li Huiyan and make him fall in love with her. However, she didn't expect that it would make Mo Yuza angry. One had to know that now that the Song and Lu families had withdrawn, the Mo family's status had risen. In the political, business, and cultural circles, who dared not to give face to the Mo family? There were some things that could not be said. Yang Mi's words had touched Mo Yuza's reverse scale. When they saw Mo Yuza's dragon face become enraged, for a time, everyone present went silent like cicadas in winter. Their hairs stood on end, and they didn't dare breathe loudly. The large hall was completely silent. There were more than 100 people, but not even the slightest sound could be heard. Call Li Huiyan over. Mo Yuza said in a sinister tone. His face was as cold as ice, and his slightly widened eyes were filled with killing intent. Yang Mi immediately took out her elegant white iPhone and dialed a number, snorting coldly in her heart. Li Huiyan, Li Huiyan. Let's see how you explain this to young Master Mo. You're dead meat this time. Let's see how you're going to compete with me for resources in the future. A moment later, the call was connected. Yang Mi smiled and said, Huiyan, young Master Mo wants to talk to you. 5 minutes later, Li Huiyan hurried over. Mo Yuza still had a smile on his face. He didn't seem to be angry. Huiyan, I heard that you're having hot pot in spicy country. How did you recover so quickly? Young Master Mo, Li Huiyan's face tightened. Mo Yuza was nothing like Xiang Qian, Wan Chuha, and the other young masters he had met in Hong Kong. He was the real crown prince of Yanjin. His father was sitting in the sea and had a high position. She didn't think that Jiang Tian couldn't afford to offend Mo Yuza, but she didn't think that there was a need to cause trouble for Jiang Tian. You better give me a proper explanation now, or I'll be angry. Mo Yuza chuckled, but everyone present felt a chill run down their spines. Everyone knew that offending Mo Yuza would lead to terrible consequences. No matter how rich you were or how powerful you were, as long as you offended him, he could remove your name in seconds. I'm sorry, young Master Mo. I have a friend who came back from abroad, so, Li Huiyan sounded helpless and apologetic, hoping that Mo Yuza would let her off the hook. Everyone broke out in cold sweat when they heard Li Huiyan's words. What kind of friend could be more precious than Mo Yuza? You've been in the entertainment industry for so long, how could you have such low EQ? Friend? Is your friend more important than me? Mo Yuza raised his eyebrows and pointed at Li Jianwei. Jianwei. Yes, young Master Mo. Li Jianwei quickly bowed. Call his friend over. Mo Yuza's face was filled with murderous intent. I'd like to see who he is that Huiyan thinks so highly of him. Young Master Mo, I think we should forget about it. Li Huiyan frowned. The scene in Hong Kong was still lingering in her mind. Back then, Jiang Tian had caused a bloodbath in Hong Kong in a fit of rage. Jiang Tian and Mo Yuza were going against each other. If anything happened to Mo Yuza, wouldn't she be a jinx? She really couldn't find any adjectives to describe it, so she added this sentence. That friend of mine has a bad temper. Dead silence. The whole place was dead silent. Everyone looked at Li Huiyan as if she was an idiot. Their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Soon after, a buzzing sound was heard, and noisy discussions could be heard. Is this Li Huiyan an idiot? How could she talk to young Master Mo like that? A female celebrity said in surprise. She probably doesn't know what's going on. Her hair is long, but her knowledge is short. The real estate mogul who gave the courtyard house away swirled his red wine glass and said, does she think she can challenge young Master Mo by relying on Zhang Huchen? One word from young Master Mo and Zhang Huchen will have to kneel. Could it be that she's too immersed in acting as a domineering CEO? She thinks she can attract young Master Mo's attention and make young Master Mo like her even more by putting up a resistance. A mogul in the entertainment industry laughed sinisterly. The real domineering mogul doesn't have time to be lovey-dovey with you. Only death awaits if you resist. Everyone, keep your voices down. If young Master Mo hears this, we'll all be in trouble. Someone looked nervous. I don't know how such a low EQ woman got into the entertainment industry. As for Yang Mi, she was laughing hysterically. She tried to hold back her laughter, but the corners of her mouth kept twitching. Do you think I have a good temper? Anger finally appeared on Mo Yuza's face. Although his voice was still calm, everyone knew that he was on the verge of exploding. Young Master Mo, I think we should just forget about it, because he's... At this point, Li Huiyan was about to mention Jiang Tian's name. The most powerful overlord, Kang Te-chu, the only overlord on the divine roll, Jiang Dixian, or Jiang Ligua, who crushed the superpowers in the world. However, this sentence became the fuse that ignited Mo Yuza's anger. Before she could finish, she was interrupted. Shut up. Mo Yuza was finally enraged. His handsome face was covered with frost and his eyes were as sharp as knives. Li Huiyan, am I too nice to you? Or do you think my words don't matter in Yanjin? I don't care who he is. The point is, do you know who I am? At this moment, everyone was stunned and their hearts were pounding. Li Huiyan, you're really in trouble this time. You don't know how to talk. You're going to kill someone. In fact, Li Huiyan meant well. Jiang Tian and Mo Yuza both had their own trump cards. Plus, there was no real conflict between them. To put it bluntly, it was just a misunderstanding. There was no need to fight to the death. Li Jianwei, what are you waiting for? Mo Yuza glared at Li Jianwei and said coldly. I'm on my way. Li Jianwei was waiting for this. His mother and wife wanted to vent their anger, but they didn't have the courage to do it. They wanted to use someone else to do the dirty work. They wanted to use Mo Yuza to kill Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian's family was having a good time. Li Huiyan, who knew that Jiang Tian had returned to China, came to visit him. However, Li Huiyan was called away by her friend, so Jiang Tian didn't take it to heart. After all, Li Huiyan had her own circle of friends. Yanjin's high society wasn't that big, so it wasn't strange to see someone she knew. Suddenly. Bang! 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 Someone knocked on the door. Accompanied by Yan Di, Li Jianwei walked in haughtily. You're Li Huiyan's friends. Li Jianwei looked at them with disdain. Young Master Mo Yuza wants to invite you over for a drink. Who's Mo Yuza? Jiang Tian frowned. Zhang Danfeng's face froze. He said uneasily, he's one of the princes of Yanjin who was on par with Lu Lishuan and Song Poju. Now that they're gone, he's the most powerful among the princes of Yanjin. I see. He should be looking for me. You guys eat first. I'll go take a look myself. Jiang Tian stood up with a smile and walked out of the door. I heard that Mo Yuza is looking for me. Who is it? Come out. Jiang Tian looked around and asked casually when he arrived at the venue of the birthday party. It's Kang Te-chu. Li Huiyan's friend, so it's him. I thought it was Zhang Huchen. When Mo Yuza saw Jiang Tian, his pupils shrank and his mind went blank. He didn't feel good. At that moment, his heart was in turmoil. It was like the Yellow River had burst its banks. He couldn't calm down anymore. Why did he come back? Oh my God, why did I meet this god of slaughter? I'm so unlucky. Why did he come back? Yes, I heard from my dad that he's going to sign a cooperation agreement for the import and export of weapons. Kang Te-chu now controls Sidoni. He's invincible in the world. Even the President of America has to bow his head to him. Even the Emperor of Russia has to swallow his pride. At that moment, Mo Yuza's heart was about to explode. He almost fainted. Most people didn't know about Jiang Tian's background. However, his father was an important member of a big shot. Mo Yuza knew Jiang Tian too well. Just 3 months ago, Jiang Tian had rushed to America and massacred the Rockefeller building. He had killed Song Beishan and Lu Zhenghua, the 2 super big shots who were on par with Old Master Mo. After that, Jiang Tian went on a killing spree in America. He went against nuclear weapons, destroyed the universal shield, and killed the superbrain human. Finally, even the Pentagon had to bow their heads to Jiang Tian. No one knew about all this. However, Mo Yuza had known about it for a long time. In short, Mo Yuza couldn't afford to offend Jiang Tian. Even old Master Mo couldn't afford to offend him. Jiang Tian, now you know who my backer is. How dare you humiliate me? Apologize to me now and I'll forgive you. As for Yan Di, he crossed his arms and actually started hooting at Jiang Tian without any regard for his own life. Chapter 847. At that moment, Mo Yuza was immersed in deep fear and shock. His mind went blank and he did not recover for a long time. As for Jiang Tian losing his cultivation, Mo Yuza did not believe it at all. Mo Yuza's father did not believe it at all. The big shots in the sea did not believe it either. The military experts had analyzed it. Under the power of a nuclear explosion, if Jiang Tian could not withstand it, only death would await him. There was no such thing as losing one's cultivation but not dying. If Jiang Tian could withstand it, it meant that Jiang Tian had the ability to take it head-on. His cultivation would not be reduced either. Besides, who was he now? He was now Sidoni's emperor. Just this identity alone was enough to intimidate the world. Why would he need cultivation? There were many powerful disciples under his banner. Did he need to personally fight with those martial artists? The old master of the Mo family had once gathered the core members of the family for an important meeting. He spent an entire day introducing Jiang Tian in detail. Mo Yuza, on the other hand, was slapped twice by the old man when he sneaked out for a smoke break. It was obvious how much old Master Mo feared and respected Jiang Tian. Therefore, Mo Yuza had deeply imprinted Jiang Tian's appearance in the slideshow. The old master had said that when they met Kang Tae-chu, all the members of the Mo family had to greet him as a sign of respect. They had to use all means, bargaining chips, and connections to rope this person in. The reason was simple. If Jiang Tian had not destroyed the Liu and Song families, the Mo family would not have had a chance to rise. Since Jiang Tian had the ability to destroy the Liu and Song families under the nose of the Pentagon, then he had the ability to destroy the Mo family or any of the top political and business families in Huaxia. Yan Di thought that Jiang Tian was so obedient because he was afraid of Mo Yuza. He sneered again. Jiang Tian, now you know who you have offended, right? Young Master Mo is my husband's cousin. Li Jianwei also swaggered and said, I'm sorry. Jiang Tian, what's wrong with you? How dare you call young Master Mo by his name? Don't you know the rules? In this world, how many people dared to provoke young Master Mo? Be careful or I'll teach you a lesson. Mo Yunyun held Mo Yuza's hand and said, Yuza, this is the kid who forced Yan Di to kneel. He even mocked me during dinner. I suspect that his family is corrupt and accepting bribes. Investigate him for me. Yan Di said sarcastically. Jiang Tian, are you regretting it now? How dare you force me to kneel? Now, give me. Before she could finish her sentence, she heard a sudden slap. Mo Yuza slapped Yan Di in the face, causing blood to spurt out from her nose. Her face was red, and she sat on the ground. Cousin, why did you hit me? Yan Di was stunned, but he was more scared than he felt wronged. Mo Yuza didn't need a reason to hit her, so she didn't need to feel wronged. The consequences of Mo Yuza's anger were too terrifying. It was very likely that her future, and even her husband's future, would be ruined. How dare you be disrespectful to Master Kong? Do you want to die? Mo Yuza shouted loudly, scaring everyone. They had never seen Mo Yuza so angry. Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, Mo Yuza actually walked quickly to Jiang Tian, lowered his noble and arrogant head, and said in a low voice, I'm sorry. Grandmaster Jiang, I didn't know that you were Huiyin's friend. I'm sorry for disturbing your mood. I'd like to express my sincerest apologies. Please forgive me this time. This. Everyone was shocked and surprised. They couldn't believe it. How could Master Kong make Mo Yuza bow down? In Huaxia, how many people could make Mo Yuza bow down? In fact, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that Mo Yuza wanted to kneel down to Jiang Tian. The urge to kneel was so strong that if Jiang Tian snorted or glared at him, he wouldn't be able to withstand it and would have to kneel down. Mo Yunyun was stunned, then shouted in surprise, "Yuza, what's wrong with you? We're relatives. Why are you siding with an outsider and hitting your own people? And this Jiang Tian. What's there to be afraid of? Aren't you afraid that you'll embarrass the Mo family by bowing down to him? What did you say?" Mo Yuza was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. He didn't expect his distant aunt to be so reckless. "I bowed down to Jiang Tian, that's already my attitude, and you also attended the meeting. You're still being so disrespectful to him. Aren't you pushing me and the entire Mo family into the fire pit?" He didn't expect Mo Yunyun to be such a shallow person. During the meeting, she wore a Bluetooth headset and secretly watched the live broadcast of the internet celebrity on her mobile phone. She even tipped him like crazy and missed a lot of information. As for her son and daughter-in-law, they didn't have the opportunity to attend such a high-level meeting. After all, news about Jiang Tian was classified as a 6-star top secret by the government. It couldn't be leaked out easily, and it was even strictly guarded and deleted crazily. It was basically controlled by the high-ranking officials. Otherwise, if the news about these people who had surpassed the immortal state and could challenge the superpowers of the current era spread to the public, it would seriously affect the government's credibility. Slap. In a fit of rage, Mo Yuza slapped Mo Yunyun's face and shouted angrily, "Master Kang's status isn't something you can judge. You slapped me." Mo Yunyun was stunned. "That's a light punishment." Mo Yuza kicked her face, and her nose collapsed instantly. He shouted hysterically, "From now on, you have nothing to do with the Mo family. You're expelled from the family." "What? Yuza, how can you punish me so severely?" Mo Yunyun's face changed drastically, and she almost burst into tears. Being expelled from the family and abandoned by the Mo family was not a simple sentence. This meant that she and her husband would not receive any support from the Mo family, and even her husband's job would be stripped to the end. Mo Yunyun's family is very rich. Their assets are worth tens of billions. At this time, Jiang Tian said lightly. How could there be such a thing? Mo Yuza pretended to be shocked. He thought that Master Kong was going to kill them all. But he had no other choice. He gritted his teeth and shouted sternly. Mo Yunyun, this is obviously related to corruption and bribery. I didn't expect that there would be such a scum in the Mo family. This is despicable and hateful. Then he turned to look at Jiang Tian, and said humbly with a face full of joy. Mr. Jiang, don't worry. The Mo family has always been at odds with corrupt people. I will immediately report this matter to my father and ask the inspection department to investigate. We will definitely punish them severely and give Master Kong and the public an explanation. Ah! We're done for. We're completely done for. Mo Yunyun's face was ashen. She could not believe it. She had never expected that her complaint would end up like this. She had shot herself in the foot. Jiang Tian, I know I was wrong. Please say something to young Master Mo, otherwise, my husband and father-in-law will go to jail. At this time, Yan Di was no longer arrogant. He was full of fear. He quickly knelt down before Jiang Tian and kowtowed repeatedly. Then, Mo Yunyun and Li Jianwei also knelt down and kowtowed to Jiang Tian to beg for mercy. Their biggest backer was the Mo family. If the Mo family abandoned them and attacked them, they would be doomed eternally. Didn't you ask someone to investigate my father? Didn't you want to force me to kneel and beg for mercy? Jiang Tian slapped Yan Di's face and said flatly, Go on, I'm waiting. Yan Di was not a kind person. He wanted to force him to kneel and ask the Mo family to investigate his father. If he did not have the identity of Kang Tae-chu, he would have been suppressed to death by the Mo family. It could be said that Jiang Tian was already merciful by not killing them. Yen Di's face was swollen from the slap. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but he did not dare to resist. Jiang Tian kicked Mo Yunyun in the chest and she fell to the ground like a dead dog. Jiang Tian said disdainfully. I broke the law. I even hit people. I even dared to kill people. Didn't you want to investigate me? Come on. Slap. Jiang Tian slapped Li Jianwei's face again. A few of his teeth flew out. You said that I don't deserve to be called Mo Yuza's name. I can't afford to offend him. Jiang Tian snorted. Mo Yuza quickly interrupted and reprimanded him sternly. Li Jianwei, you snob. You don't know Master Kang's current status. But when facing Jiang Tian, the crown prince of Yanjin and the heir of the Mo family, he was like the most loyal brother and had a smile on his face. He smiled and said, even my old man said that once he sees Master Kang, he must be treated as a guest of honor and treat him with the highest respect. SSS. When the rich and famous people present heard this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. What kind of status did he have to be to make the old man of the Mo family treat him so seriously? He had to be the leader of a superpower. Li Jianwei, Yen Di, and Mo Yunyun were in despair. They regretted it so much. How could they afford to offend someone that even their old man had to treat with respect? At this moment, they were like a few vicious dogs. They thought that Jiang Tian was a little white rabbit and wanted to bite and ravage it. However, when they took a closer look, they realized that it was actually a prehistoric Tyrannosaurus rex baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Chapter 848. Li Jianwei, if you want to teach me a lesson, come on. Jiang Tian smiled faintly. I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. I know I was wrong. Li Jianwei begged for mercy, trembling in fear. Smack. Jiang Tian sneered as he stomped on his knee, directly crushing his knee into pieces. Ow, ow, ow. Li Jianwei screamed miserably, like a dying dog. The others were all terrified, their hairs standing on end. Master Kang was too domineering. He hit Mo Yuza's family in front of him, but Mo Yuza didn't dare to show the slightest bit of anger. He even smiled and applauded. What kind of overwhelming power was this? What kind of domineering power was that? What kind of glorious glory was that? You're lucky. My wife is pregnant, and I don't want to kill anyone. Otherwise, you'd be a corpse. Jiang Tian's eyes were indifferent. He had put up with Yen Di's family for a long time. He was in a good mood because of his mother and Qing'er's pregnancy, so he didn't argue with them. He didn't expect them to take advantage of him. If he didn't give them a few slaps, they wouldn't stop. They were dry and clumsy, they were not smooth at all. He had to control them. Get out, all of you. Mo Yuza waved his hand, and the bodyguards immediately came forward and carried the three of them out. Mo Yuza immediately took a glass of red wine from the waiter's silver tray and handed it over to Jiang Tian. He said respectfully, Grandmaster Jiang, I never thought that the heavens would bestow upon you a son. Your wife is pregnant, and the Jiang family has a new son. Master Kang, I must propose a toast to you. He downed the glass in one gulp. To Master Kang. The rich and famous people present didn't dare to be negligent. They all raised their glasses and downed the glass. Well, your attitude is not bad. I won't argue with you. Jiang Tian took a sip and said calmly, but, my friend is Huiyan. However, Huiyan is my friend. Don't cause trouble for her in the future. Got it? Of course. Master Kang, don't worry, I'll treat her like a female bodhisattva in the future. Mo Yuza nodded and patted his chest. Although Mo Yuza tried his best to persuade Jiang Tian to stay, Jiang Tian didn't want to entertain him and left with Li Huiyan. Jiang Tian, how can you suppress him? On the way back, Li Huiyan asked in disbelief. In her opinion, Jiang Tian was very strong, but Mo Yuza was also very strong. Even if Mo Yuza didn't dare to provoke Jiang Tian, he wouldn't be so afraid of him that he would lower his head like a mouse in front of a cat. In a few days, I will have a meeting with the big shots. His old man is only qualified to attend. How can he not be afraid? Jiang Tian smiled faintly, not willing to explain further. Today, the Coelian Empire was established and Sidoni was the most powerful military force in the world. Even the President of the United States had to bow down to Jiang Tian. How could a mere Red Wall noble disciple enter Jiang Tian's eyes? Mo Yunyun wants to kill with a borrowed knife. It's obvious that they want to use young Master Mo's love for Li Huiyan to make young Master Mo and Master Kong go against each other. Their intentions are terrible. One of the think tanks immediately figured out the crux of the matter and said coldly. Grandpa, Dad, what should we do now? I really didn't know that it was Master Kong at that time. Mo Yuza panicked. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. Cut it off. The think tank said decisively, cut off all contact with Mo Yunyun's family immediately and arrest old Li. Mo Yuza's father nodded and said coldly, that's right. A piece of bad meat spoils the pot of soup. We should have dealt with them long ago. Also, find an opportunity for the old man to apologize to Master Kong personally. Old Master Mo ignored everyone's shocked gaze and shook his head with a bitter smile. Only then can I sleep peacefully. I don't want to be killed by a sword in my sleep. I don't want to be like Lu Jinghua and Song Bei-shan, who lost their integrity and went down in history with infamy. What? The Mo family is so ruthless and decisive. They want to investigate your family in order to extinguish Jiang Tian's anger? Yan Jianfan was also shocked when he heard the news. He couldn't believe it. Although he guessed that Jiang Tian should be very capable, he didn't expect Jiang Tian to be so powerful that he could suppress Mo Yuza and the entire Mo family. Mo Yuza was one of the top princes in Yanjing, but he also bowed down to Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian's wealth was comparable to a country's, and his power was overwhelming. Dad, Uncle Jiang Tian and Auntie Zhang Wanqing were university classmates. As long as Jiang Tian says something, Master Mo will definitely forgive us. Yan Di was so regretful that he wanted to kill himself with a piece of tofu. Yeah. Old Yan, open your mouth and say something. Even if it's for Yan Di. After all, we were classmates with Zhang Wanqing and her husband. We have some feelings for each other. At this time, Mo Yunyun was also like a frosted eggplant. She was no longer arrogant and was completely listless. Li Jianwei was not there. He was in the hospital. His knee was comminuted. The doctor said that there was no possibility of recovery. He was still hospitalized. The specialists had to carefully study where to amputate the leg so that it could be preserved for a longer period of time. Moreover, as a suspect, Li Jianwei was already under police surveillance and couldn't leave. At this moment, Mo Yunyun was filled with regret. Jiang Tian was too powerful, and the situation was too serious. It was far beyond her expectations. Her husband was taken away by the Commission for Discipline Inspection that very night. In the past few years, they had made a lot of money by controlling the customs. If they investigated seriously, her husband would not be able to escape 10 years in prison. The entire Li family was like a building that was about to collapse. Everyone was sitting on pins and needles, unable to eat or sleep in peace. After knowing the whole story, everyone in the Li family scolded her and Yan Di for being jinxes. They didn't have the foresight to provoke someone they shouldn't have and cause the entire Li family to be destroyed. Mo Yunyun, now you know that Zhixing and Wanqing were our classmates. Yan Jianfan was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He slammed the table and shouted, how could you forget that we were classmates when we were having dinner? You mocked them and threatened to kill them. You even wanted to arrest their son and husband. Why didn't you care about being classmates at that time? Yan Jianfan, a senior intellectual, had always been well-mannered, but at this moment, he was so angry that he cursed. How many times have I told you? I tried my best to persuade you, but I couldn't stop you. You're sending people to their deaths at a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. Faster than a fucking bullet train. Chapter 849. At this moment, Su Lulu walked over and said with a dejected expression, I just called Zhang Wanqing. What did Zhang Wanqing say? Everyone looked at her nervously. They didn't even dare to breathe. Su Lulu's face turned bitter and she sighed. She said that her son is useless and only knows how to fight. She doesn't deserve to be our friend. How can she be of help? That was a slap in the face. However, no one was in the mood to be embarrassed. They only felt a wave of desolation and despair, as if they had fallen into an ice cellar, and their bodies were cold. That's what I thought too. Yan Jianfan sighed and said, if this happened to you, would you pretend that it didn't happen? We can only blame ourselves. Who would have thought that Jiang Tian was so powerful that he could even suppress Mo Yuza, Yan Di said with a sad face. Didn't I tell you? You can't underestimate Jiang Tian. Yan Jianfan was furious and shouted, I told you that you will regret it if you offend Jiang Tian and fight him to the death. The upbringing of our scholarly family has been completely disgraced by you. If you didn't mock Jiang Tian at the airport, if you didn't provoke him again and again, this wouldn't have happened. Sigh. Is there really no other way? Yan Di's face was pale and full of despair. Tears fell from her beautiful eyes like rain. A strong and bitter regret rushed to the top of her head. Suddenly, she thought of Qin Zongheng. Now, the Qin family and other martial arts families in Yanjin had broken off their relationship with Kang Teichu. Since Qin Zongheng was so powerful, maybe he could suppress Jiang Tian. So what if Jiang Tian was rich and powerful? After all, he had no cultivation. For a cultivator, cultivation was the foundation. Without cultivation, he would lose everything. Zhou Xiaoxiang, the manager of Yanjin Airport, was beaten to the point of breaking many bones. After being sent to the hospital, he recovered after 2 days of emergency treatment. Zhou Xiaoxiang did not want to stay in the hospital. After all, he was a vassal of the Qin family. He had once held a high position and earned a lot of money. He had a villa and a private family doctor. The next day, after the surgery, he returned to his own villa to recuperate because the hospital environment was too bad. Young Master Zongheng, another group of people came and beat me up badly. Under the care of Xiaomi, Zhou Xiaoxiang lay on the bed with a cast and bandages like a mummy and reported to Qin Zongheng. After reporting the situation, Zhou Xiaoxiang was a little uncertain. Young Master Zongheng, since Yuan Lei, Wei Feilong, and Zhan Long are still supporting him, does that mean Kang Teichu's cultivation is still there? Qin Zongheng shook his head and said calmly, he cured Yuan Lei's strange disease. Zhan Long was also indebted to him. Wei Feilong is his last disciple. Their support of Jiang Tian doesn't mean anything. He didn't do anything from the beginning to the end. It seems that Jiang Tian's cultivation is still lower. It might not even exist. Otherwise, he would have killed you directly when you offended him like that. Don't be afraid. Our trump cards are no longer limited to celestial leaf alone. There will be even greater trump cards appearing. It's something you can't even imagine. Zhou Xiaoxiang was delighted. Could it be that we have a stronger backer than Yi Tianren? What is it? Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Qin Zongheng's tone was cold. Don't worry, I won't treat you badly. I won't let you get beaten up for nothing. Then, he hung up the phone. That's great. It's worth it to get beaten up. Anyway, it can be cured. Zhou Xiaoxiang was overjoyed when he heard that. It seemed that he would get more benefits. At this time, the charming and coquettish Xiaomi brought a bowl of ginseng soup and said, "Honey, have some soup." Zhou Xiaoxiang said angrily, "What's so good about ginseng soup? I want to eat dog meat." Dog meat hot pot. Ah. Dog meat? Xiaomi was stunned. She couldn't believe it. Zhou Xiaoxiang was quite pretentious. He always thought that dog meat was not good enough for dinner and never ate it. "I just want to eat dog meat." Zhou Xiaoxiang clenched his teeth in anger. "If it wasn't for that big black dog, I wouldn't have suffered such a big loss. I have to eat dog meat to be happy. Then I'll call the restaurant." Xiaomi complained in her heart. Zhou Xiaoxiang, this old dog, was getting harder and harder to please. Right at this moment, pa, a big black dog ran into the bedroom. Where did this dog come from? The villa's gate is closed. Xiaomi was shocked. Zhou Xiaoxiang was overjoyed. He quietly took out a gun from under his pillow. "Isn't this Jiang Tian's big black dog? Fuck, I really want to eat you. You actually came to me. You want to eat me? You're quite resentful." The old dragon laughed and bared its teeth. "Oh my god, this dog can talk. It can even laugh." Xiaomi was so scared that her face turned pale. She sat on the ground. What the hell is this?" Zhou Xiaoxiang was so scared that his face turned ashen. He peed on the spot and dropped his gun. It was too scary. It was too strange. Could it be that this dog had already become a spirit? What the hell? "I, baby dragon, want to eat you." The big black dog laughed sinisterly and transformed into its original appearance. The huge body of the true dragon burst the room, and the whole villa shook violently. As Zhou Xiaoxiang screamed in despair and fear, the old dragon opened its mouth and swallowed Zhou Xiaoxiang. After chewing for a while, it swallowed him. As for Xiaomi, after a hysterical scream, she was so scared that she fainted. "It doesn't taste good. It's too fatty. Sick of it. Next time, it should be accompanied by a spicy hot pot." After the old dragon finished eating, it spat a few mouthfuls and complained that the taste was not good. It turned into the big black dog again and swaggered out of the villa. For Jiang Tian, people like Yan Di and Mo Yuza were just small episodes in his long life. He did not care at all. However, on this day, Zhang Huchen found Jiang Tian. He said a little gloomily, "Brother Tian, I know you're with sister-in-law, but there's something I have to tell you." "Say it." "Do you still remember Yuhua Villa?" Zhang Huchen said. "After you left Huaxia, you handed it over to Zhang Yilin. Zhang Yilin's plan is to transform it into a holiday villa and return it to the people. After all, this tourist area originally belonged to the people. Yilin is right to do this." Jiang Tian nodded approvingly. "But now, this villa is under Qin Zifen's control and he has not returned it." Zhang Huchen said. "Qin Zifen has the guts to do this?" Jiang Tian's face flashed with anger. Qin Zifen was the one responsible for the expropriation of the Bai family's assets. These assets have always been under Qin Zifen's name. Zhang Huchen said. "You're a busy man. No one wants to bother you over a mere 10 billion yuan. Plus, you're a powerful man. No one would have thought that Qin Zifen would do something to your assets. So, the ownership certificate and contract have never been changed. Now, at least legally, Qin Zifen has no problems at all. He has nothing to fear." Zhang Huchen spread his hands. Jiang Tian sneered and said, "This brat has some guts, huh? I knew he was a vicious dog, but I didn't expect him to be a vicious dog." Unlike Hu Qingtian, Zhao Yuankuan and Wei Feilong, the 6 major families of Yanjin were not directly related to Qin Zifen. Jiang Tian knew that these people were not as reliable as he thought, but he didn't expect them to act so quickly. Just because of some rumors, just because of the existence of the threat of Celestial Yi, they leaned to the other side. The reason why Jiang Tian had not revealed his cultivation and started a massacre was because he wanted to lure the snake out of its hole in order to capture it better. He needed to make Chen Zifan and Qin Zongheng, who were not so loyal, jump out and then clear them out of the team. Master, let's get rid of them. I'd like to see how big their guts are. How many heads are there for us to chop off? At this moment, angry shouts could be heard, and several imposing figures walked in. They were Tang Lingling, Hua Qingtian, Wei Feilong, Zhao Yuankuan, and a few other disciples of Jiang Tian. Even the ancestral master of the Hong sect, Situ Shao, was there. Master, even if your power is weakened, you are not someone they can bully. Tang Linglong's eyes glistened with tears. She was so angry that her eyes turned red. Why are you so worked up? My wife is pregnant. I will not forgive you for scaring my baby. Jiang Tian said with a smile. What? The matriarch is pregnant? Congratulations. It was worthy of celebration. The Tianqing school is going to have a young sect leader. Everyone was overjoyed. Zhao Xueqing also rubbed her belly with a blissful smile. I am not hurt. Did you think I was going to die? That's why you are here to help me. Jiang Tian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just because Charlene had posted a picture of him vomiting blood, they had deduced that he had lost all his power. How naive. At Jiang Tian's level, even if his body was destroyed, he could still rebuild it with the help of his primordial spirit. This kind of divine power was beyond the imagination of a mortal like Chen Zifan. Really? That's great. Tang Linglong and the other disciples were overjoyed. From what I can see, not only did Master's power not decrease, but it also increased. Especially his soul energy. Situ Shao could see a thing or two about Chen Zifan. After all, his power had surpassed the earth-level deity level and was on his way to becoming a sky immortal. Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the 6 families of Yan Jin. Hua Qingtian shouted murderously. Chapter 850. There were factions in every organization. It was the same in Tianqing school. Hua Qingtian used to belong to the Heavenly Alliance and was at odds with the 6 major families of Yanjin. Jiang Tian, I don't want you to kill anyone. Zhao Xueqing caressed her slightly bulging belly with a compassionate expression. She said softly, we're going to have a child soon, okay, don't worry. I won't kill anyone. Jiang Tian hurriedly promised with a gentle face. Jiang Tian had a lot of overlords under his command, including immortal state warriors and mortal deities. He even had one earth-level deity. He didn't need to do anything to kill them. He could even ask the Blackie to do it. In Yuhua Villa, the maple leaves were as red as fire and the snow was white. The villa had been transformed into a high-end clubhouse where the rich and famous of Yanjin gathered. The huge villa had a racecourse, a golf course, a winery, a helicopter club and so on. The clubhouse had a membership system and those who could get a membership had to have at least 1 billion yuan in assets. Even so, there were still many rich people who were willing to join the clubhouse. Chen Zifan was one of the 6 major families of Yanjin and had a great influence in both the martial arts world and the secular world. Those who knew him would be able to get a lot of resources and benefits. Meanwhile, in Shuangqing's villa, Chen Zifan was wearing a mink coat and a Rolex green water ghost watch. He was sunbathing on a deck chair. He didn't look like a martial arts overlord, but a rich man in the secular world. Zhang Yilin was sitting next to him in a yellow camel coat. She looked elegant and dignified. After all, her Yanjin software group was one of the top high-tech companies in the world. After a few years of training, she was no longer the naive girl she used to be. Instead, she was a powerful woman. However, Zhang Yilin was furious. Chen Zifan, aren't you afraid that my cousin will punish you for taking over Yuhua Villa? Io, you scared me to death. Chen Zifan pretended to be scared, but his eyes were full of disdain and mockery. Jiang Tian is already crippled. Don't you know that? Kang Tae-chu, he doesn't even dare to return to his country. I'm just occupying it. What can you do to me? Now, all the 6 great martial arts aristocratic families have turned to the Yi clan. Even the semi-hidden sects like Diansang and Amei sect want to take revenge on Jiang Tian. If Jiang Tian dares to come back now, he will definitely be killed by Yi Tianren. He stood Yi Tianren up a few times. I'm afraid Yi Tianren is going to go crazy from anger. Jiang Tian's influence in the country is finished. Now, everyone was waiting for an opportunity to snatch Jiang Tian's assets in the country. I'm afraid your Zhang clan won't have many good days ahead. Chen Zifen was originally hesitating whether he should betray Jiang Tian and switch sides with Yi Tianren. After all, he also knew Jiang Tian's strength and personality. He was definitely not someone who could be easily offended. But when he heard that Yi Tianren had broken through to the half-step celestial immortal level, he no longer hesitated. What kind of concept was a half-step celestial immortal? It was beyond this world and close to the gods. No matter how strong Jiang Tian was, he had never shown the strength of a half-step celestial immortal before. Moreover, just a few days ago, he relied on the elixirs and cultivation methods given by Jiang Tian to forcibly push his cultivation to the half-step celestial immortal realm. The key point was that Jiang Tian's strength was now greatly reduced, and he was already like a cripple. Because of this, Chen Zifen was even more determined. Now, he was not afraid of Kang Tae-chu at all. He even felt that Jiang Tian did not dare to return to Huaxia. Naturally, he had no scruples. He glanced at Zhang Yilin with a pair of malicious eyes and said indifferently, "Zhang Yilin, if you want to take this club, that's fine. I don't lack money, but you want to sleep with me?" Zhang Yilin sneered sarcastically. What a fool. You're really daring. She stood up and let out a bell-like laugh. Her voice was full of anger. Why don't you think about how servile you were in front of my cousin? In my eyes, you are even worse than a dog. Chen Zifen was furious. He stood up and shouted, "Zhang Yilin, don't think that you can disrespect me just because you are a member of the Zhang family." He was full of murderous intent and his eyes were as sharp as knives. He sneered. The Chen family is a martial arts family. We are detached from worldly affairs. Even the government dares not interfere. I can kill you as easily as killing a chicken. Even Zhang Zhonggua dares not bare his teeth at me. Do you think I'm an idiot? If I didn't have 100% confidence, if I didn't have a solid backing, I wouldn't dare to challenge Jiang Tian. How dare I take such a big risk? He said proudly, I'll be frank with you. I have a real Earth immortal overseeing this place. Furthermore, he's not from our world. He is from the hidden sect of the dimensional space. Who can defeat him? He looked behind him arrogantly at the man who was fishing on the small wooden boat in the pond. The man was wearing a Taoist robe. He looked to be in his 80s. His white hair was as white as snow and he looked like an immortal. If that Kang Tae-chu doesn't come, I'll be fine. If he does, this old man will kill him with one slap. The old man was full of arrogance. He reached out his hand and made a grabbing motion in the pond. Kaboom! Suddenly, a giant dragon formed by the pond water rose into the air. It was dozens of meters long. The water dragon was majestic and lifelike. Its eyes were blinking as if it was about to come to life. Then, the black tortoise, the vermilion bird, the white tiger and other strange beasts appeared one by one. Immortal Master Yuan's skills have reached the acme of perfection and his cultivation is heaven-defying. I am truly impressed. Seeing this, Chen Zifen's face was filled with fanaticism. He bowed and cupped his fists as if he was looking at a god. It's just a small trick. It's not worth mentioning. Celestial Master Yuan smiled proudly. With a wave of his hand, many strange phenomena fell into the deep pond and set off huge waves. He came from the real hidden sect, the Celestial Palace. His ancestor was Yuan Tiangang, the great prodigy of cultivation in the Tang dynasty. Yuan Tiangang's background was too great. It was said that he had the bloodline of the fairy of the 9 heavens and was a descendant of a true immortal. He had outstanding achievements in metaphysics. Even Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty invited him to be the chief think tank. He had also compiled the ancient book, Pushback Diagram. This book was very magical. It could predict the future for thousands of years, including the history of the Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties. However, after Yuan Tiangang was punished by the heavens and died, the Yuan family lived in seclusion in a small secret realm. They hid from the world and waited for the world to change. They also secretly searched for cultivation geniuses around the world. After more than 1,000 years of development, this hidden sect called Celestial Palace had hundreds of disciples. Among the hidden sects in Huaxia, its strength could be ranked in the top 20. He was also a wonderful person. When he was 60 years old, he stepped into the half-step human immortal realm. Now, he was a real earth immortal. Even Kang Te-chu and Yi Tianren were not in his eyes. It was said that Kang Te-chu was very powerful. It was very likely that he would reach the peak of the earth immortal realm or even the half-step celestial immortal realm. But Celestial Master Yuan did not believe it at all. The Celestial Palace was a secret realm that was born on the ancient earth. Moreover, there was a seed of the chaotic sacred tree. The spiritual qi was dense and the spiritual liquid was everywhere. It was not comparable to the earth at all. But he had such a good environment and the cultivation method passed down by Yuan Tiangang. But he still stopped at the earth immortal realm. It was difficult for him to make any progress, let alone Kang Te-chu. He was cultivating on the wasteland of the earth, which had been drained of spiritual qi. He did not have the orthodox cultivation method, nor did he have the strange seed. How could he reach the peak of the earth immortal realm at such a young age? This was complete nonsense. Zhang Yilin was shocked when she saw the water dragon baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. She took a few steps back subconsciously. Ha, Zhang Yilin, are you afraid now? Seeing this, Qin Zifen glanced at Zhang Yilin triumphantly. Then, he bowed deeply to Immortal Master Yuan and said, Immortal Master Yuan, but Kang Te-chu's cultivation method is still not bad. If you see him, don't kill him first. Force the cultivation method out of him. I am willing to learn it. This was Qin Zifen's ultimate goal. Seizing the Yuhua mountain villa was just to force Jiang Tian to come out. At his level, his vision was getting wider and wider. He did not care about money anymore. He wanted to become a person like Kang Te-chu and Yi Tianren. He wanted to cultivate the supreme cultivation method, control a country and a sect, and be respected as the ancestral lord. He wanted to reach the peak of this blue planet. Those cultivation methods of his are nothing more than unorthodox methods. Your taste is too bad. Immortal Master Yuan was disdainful. He was arrogant and mocked. I want to cultivate the cultivation method of the Heavenly Star Palace, but you don't want to accept me as your disciple. Qin Zifen's face was full of flattery as he said humbly. It's just a small matter. It's not worth mentioning. Immortal Master Yuan waved his hand impatiently and said, if you want it, I'll capture him and force it out of him for you. I'm just afraid that he won't come out. Capture me and force me to tell you the cultivation method? You've got guts. At this moment, a mocking voice sounded. Seeing Jiang Tian coming over with people, Qin Zifen's face suddenly changed. He shouted in surprise, it's Kang Te-chu. Brother, you're back. I've been bullied by them. Zhang Yilin suddenly turned around and threw herself into Jiang Tian's arms. Tears flowed down her face uncontrollably. At this moment, she felt extremely wronged, as if she had found someone to rely on. She was like a bullied child who finally saw her parents. Jiang Tian, I didn't expect you to dare to come back. After a brief moment of panic, Qin Zifen immediately calmed down. He tilted his head and looked at Jiang Tian. Aren't you afraid that Yi Tianren will kill you? Aren't you afraid that immortal Master Yuan will kill you? Besides, aren't you afraid of me? I'm already half a step away from the immortal state. How dare you talk to Master Kong like that? Hua Qingtian shouted angrily. Do I need to be afraid of him? Do I need to be afraid of him? He has already lost all his cultivation. Chen Zifen looked at Jiang Tian mockingly. Have you forgotten who made a piece of trash like you half a step away from the immortal state? Hua Qingtian shouted angrily and directly attacked. Smack! He threw out a punch with vigorous true qi. It was like a tsunami that pressed down on Chen Zifen. Hua Qingtian was already half a step away from the human immortal state. Chen Zifen could not withstand it. He was sent flying more than 10 meters away and fell to the ground like a dead dog, vomiting blood. How dare you! Seeing this, Master Immortal Yuan's face was filled with anger. He quickly walked over and helped Chen Zifen to stand up. Kang Te-chu, you're just an abandoned person from the wasteland world. Who do you think you are? How dare you act so rashly in front of Immortal Master Yuan of the Starry Sky Palace? Chapter 851. Celestial Master, hurry up and capture Jiang Taichu. Torture him and force him to reveal his cultivation technique. Chen Zifen yelled as he spat out blood. Ha, Chen Zifen, you dare to talk to Master Kong like that? Wei Feilong's face was full of sarcasm, but his heart was filled with anger. Back then, Jiang Tian could have wiped out the Chen family and all the martial arts families in Yanjin. However, Jiang Tian had given him a way out and taught him a cultivation technique for the sake of the big picture. Who would have thought that Chen Zifen would plot against and provoke Jiang Tian? Chen Zifen wiped the blood from his lips and said with a sinister smile, "Don't you understand? Today is different from the past. The situation has changed. Kang Te-chu is done for. You're the one I don't understand." Wei Feilong sneered. How dare you be so disrespectful in front of Master Kong? You and I can be considered acquaintances. Back when you were with Grandmaster Jiang, you more or less made some contributions. If you kneel down and kowtow in submission, and sincerely repent, then I'll give you a chance to plead for mercy in front of Grandmaster Jiang. Ha, Wei Feilong, no wonder you can only be someone's lackey for the rest of your life. Chen Zifen said. Do you think I'm unprepared for this? Don't you know who this is? He pointed at Immortal Master Yuan and sneered. This is Immortal Master Yuan from the Tianqing Palace of the Yin sect. He came from the secret realm. Listen up. He came from the secret realm of the Tianqing Palace. That's like a celestial being in the heavens. Compared to the strongest person in our world, Yi Tianren, he's not much inferior. Chen Zifen grinned. Give me a chance. Now, let's see if I'm willing to give you a chance. His nostrils flared as he looked at Wei Feilong with disdain, then glanced at Jiang Tian. He was just talking about Jiang Tian a moment ago. He didn't expect Jiang Tian to come immediately. However, in his opinion, Jiang Tian's arrival was tantamount to sending himself to death. With Immortal Master Yuan here, even if Jiang Tian took Wei Feilong, Zhao Yuankuan, and Hua Qingtian with him, they would not be able to escape. The funny thing was that Wei Feilong was still showing off. He was simply courting death. You came from the secret realm? Jiang Tian scanned with his divine sense and found that the aura in Immortal Master Yuan was much purer than the aura of ordinary martial artists and sorcerers. That's right. I'm from the Orthodox Immortal sect. Are you afraid now? Immortal Master Yuan smiled proudly and said proudly, hurry and kneel down and beg for mercy. Kneel down and kowtow. Tell me the cultivation method and I'll spare your life. You, Kang Te-chu, are just an unorthodox cultivator. How dare you call yourself a Dao ancestor in Huaxia? How dare you stir up a storm of blood and make a fool of yourself? Even the mighty figures of the Yin sect don't dare to come out and do whatever they want. You're just a junior. How dare you stir up a storm in Huaxia and disturb the secular world? He flicked his sleeves and said disdainfully, the Yin sect and the Heavenly Star Palace have appeared. What are you? You're just an ant in the wasteland. I can kill you with a flick of my finger. Yin sect? What kind of trash is that? Jiang Tian snorted coldly and said leisurely, dry and dull. It's so dry and clumsy. It's not smooth at all. Situ, help me control it. Yes, master. Situ Zhao's eyes turned cold. He soared into the air like a dragon and kicked down from the sky. What? Earth-level deity. Kang Te-Chu has an earth-level deity disciple. Immortal Master Yuan's face changed drastically. He suddenly thought of someone and exclaimed, "You're Situ Shao, the ancestral master of the Hong sect." However, it was too late. Even though he had thrown out all kinds of talismans and Dharma treasures, it was still useless. Situ Zhao's foot pierced through the clouds and tore through the sky. He was like an antelope hanging its horn without a trace as he crushed many of Immortal Master Yuan's defensive barriers. He broke through a myriad of techniques and various phenomena. In the end, he stepped on Immortal Master Yuan like a toad. Pfft! Immortal Master Yuan's face contorted in pain. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood with pieces of his internal organs. How could this be? Chen Zifen didn't feel good at all. It was as if he had been immobilized by an immortal. He couldn't move at all. In his mind, Master Immortal Yuan was like an immortal. However, Jiang Tian's disciple had stomped him to the ground like a dead dog. He couldn't move at all. Situ Shao, you don't practice the orthodox arts of the Gate of Heaven. How did you become so powerful? Immortal Master Yuan couldn't believe it. He shouted at Chen Zifen. You are all ants on the wasteland. How could you compete with the orthodox arts of the Yin sect? He didn't know that Situ Shao had already practiced the sword art of the Immortal of Nine Swords and had been taught by Jiang Tian himself. Therefore, Situ Zhao's cultivation arts were much more powerful than his. You don't deserve to talk about the orthodox arts in front of me. Jiang Tian sneered. The so-called secret land of the Yin sect was just a dimensional space formed when the ruins of immortality were separated from Earth. It was still considered a cultivation tradition on Earth. How could it compare to the sects in the immortal world that Jiang Tian had seen? As for Jiang Tian, he had once surpassed the celestial realm and entered the divine realm. He had the means of a divine realm almighty at his fingertips. How could they compare to him? He kicked Immortal Yuan so hard that 3 of his ribs were broken, causing Immortal Yuan to scream miserably and vomit blood. He then laughed and said, "Don't worry. Chen Zifen, is this what you're relying on? You can't even withstand a single blow." Master Kong, I know I was wrong. Chen Zifen knelt on the ground with a thud. He was so scared that his soul was about to leave his body. He begged for mercy desperately. Chen Zifen was filled with regret. His intestines were knotted in knots and he was heartbroken. He had thought that he could provoke Jiang Tian with the support of the Yin sect's experts. However, he had underestimated Jiang Tian's strength. Even if Jiang Tian's cultivation had decreased, there were still so many people loyal to him. There were even Earth immortals who could not be shaken. Master Kong, don't kill me. The Starry Sky Palace is a Yin sect. There is a spiritual qi seed in it, which is related to the secret of the recovery of spiritual qi on Earth. Immortal Master Yuan kowtowed and begged. Ordinary people can't find the entrance to the Starry Sky Palace, but I can take you in. Do you think I won't know if you don't tell me? Jiang Tian sneered. With a swoosh, a black soul devourer shot into Immortal Master Yuan's brain like an arrow and began to search frantically. Ah! It hurts. I won't tell you. I won't tell you. Immortal Master Yuan's head exploded, and his brain and blood sprayed all over the ground. In order to keep the secret, he directly self-destructed. However, at this moment, Jiang Tian's soul devourer's divine sense still seized all the information in his mind. Jiang Tian had obtained all the secrets about the Starry Sky Palace, the Yin sect, and even the secret of the depletion of spiritual qi on earth. So that's how it is. A trace of understanding appeared on Jiang Tian's face. He pulled out a long and narrow jade talisman from Immortal Master Yuan's waist and put it into his storage ring. Jiang Tian learned from Immortal Master Yuan. In the ancient times, in order to escape the attack of foreign civilizations, a supreme grand cultivator extracted a lot of spirit qi from the earth and formed many secret realms, including the ruins of immortals, and put them into the dimensional space with a super array. Earth had become a dead planet without any spiritual qi and became a shelter for the dimensional secret realms like the ruins of immortality. When the foreign super civilizations flew over Earth, they would find that the spiritual qi here was exhausted and there was no possibility of cultivation. Earth would not pose a threat to their civilization, so they naturally would not do anything to Earth or the ruins of immortality. In every dimensional space, including the ruins of immortality, most of them would have one or more spiritual qi seeds. Spiritual qi seeds were the essence of the spiritual qi of ancient Earth. They contained abundant and vast spiritual qi and were of great benefit to cultivation. Moreover, if these spiritual qi seeds were put into Earth, it would trigger the recovery of Earth's spiritual qi and transform Earth into a cultivation planet. Moreover, in order to prevent the rise of the abandoned people of Earth, the powerful cultivators at that time also set up a super array on Earth. Immortal Trap Array. This monstrous array was like a heaven and earth cage, completely enveloping Earth. Like a giant net covering the sky, it firmly controlled the cultivation of the abandoned people of Earth at the level of Sky Immortal Holy Master, which was the third level of foundation establishment in the cultivation world. They could not advance any further. Once the cultivators of the Middle Ages forcibly broke through to the level of Sky Immortal, they would trigger the Immortal Trap Array and be discovered by the experts of the ruins of immortality and other hidden sections. If they were willing to submit, they might be taken into the ruins of immortality and other dimensional spaces and become their members. If they were unwilling to submit, they would be directly killed by the super energy such as thunder, lightning, and wind that they controlled. In short, the ruins of immortality and many hidden sects established an alliance. On Earth, there must not be any experts above the third level of foundation establishment. Otherwise, they would either submit or be killed directly. It was known as the Ancient Covenant. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.